came to me one day while taking a stroll. She said, Connorus, we need to speak. I feel I can touch your soul. But do you know the story of a strange land where God's children had to sing a song? Well, as I look around the world and more than ever in my home, a question ponders on my soul. Are we living in a strange land, a strange land? The things are not how they were before. Are we living in a strange land, a strange land, where children are not children no more? She said long ago teens shamefully bowed their heads. If no bells did chime, but yet they barely swear. Now it's simply a fashion ravaging the town, while little boys during day and night terrorizing who living right. Are we living in a strange land? Yes, she really made me sit down and think, although I still wondering, are we living in a strange land? No need to mention all the crimes that going on. You have heard enough of that. My main concern is to go deep beyond and find what's wrong with us. For when a man beholds the next human being and without remorse wipe him off the scene, then something foreign lies upon this lonely heart in love begun. So her question lingers on. Are we living in a strange land, a strange land? The things are not how they were before. Are we living in a strange land, a strange land, where neighbors don't love neighbors no more? She said years ago when she smiling face and hats off men, now they either lack manners or ABC. Look how we lose blood senselessly. Are we living in a strange land? She said, Connorus, these things so strange to me. Go sing and rescue SKP, cause we living in a strange land. So much potential this great nation has to be a force in the world. Look at the progress, yes, the country moving on, but we can't afford to doze. For along with progress comes invasion of foreign things that break our morals down. Then Gene and Dinah died for mates, just the way the latest breaks. Now the fatherless child has no mom to claim. Are we living in a strange land, a strange land, where we can't sing happy songs like before? Are we living in a strange land, a strange land, where a village don't raise a child no more? And to make it worse, I'm blaming politicians, when the truth is that this thing has gone way beyond. We need to start from the basics by turning to God. For times before he saved his children, he can do the same for us as well, and make St. Kitts a great land. All it needs is a pledge from me and you to stop the talk and start the do. Let's make St. Kitts a great land. But some may say to increase punishment. But by that stage we've lost our countrymen. We are losing our young ones to that foreign life. Let's attack our boys from the time they walk on how to act and how to talk to make St. Kitts a great land. Not because fathers have let down their sons. Mothers, please hold on to your girls and make St. Kitts a great land.
Yes, that's the song of the man King Conwest. He says, let's make St. Kitts a great land. Very, very, very great land. Are we living in a strange land, my St. Kitts Nevis people? Are we living in a strange land? That's the question. Well, my good people, I'm DJ Maurice, and I'm coming to you live and direct from my bunker here in the Republic of St. Paul, St. Kitts. And I'll be coming to you with some information this evening. It's going to be a very interesting evening. But just in the event that there are some new folks out there scrolling and running to us and might be wondering what this program is all about, I think it's only fair that we let them know who I am and what this program is all about. So please share the live as I drop this ad to let the folks know what is taking place. Share the live.
Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Maurishaw's Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Maurice. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Maurice, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Maurice. Log on.
Yes, you heard it right. You heard it right. That's DJ Maurice comes to you weekly from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. St. Kitts Nevis time. And this evening will be my final podcast for the year. So trying to be on time. Got enough individual trying to communicate with me via the phone. I don't think some folks understand that when I'm live, I have too many pieces of instrument to contend with. So I really cannot be back and forth communicating until I get myself organized, right? I'm just trying to get everything in place. So please share the live. And if folks want to send me a friend request, please, at this point, I'm not taking friend requests. Just go onto the link and follow. Just log into Facebook. You type in jeffroy.maurice. It should comes up. If you're going to YouTube following this podcast, it will be live on YouTube. So we go live on Facebook weekly, and then we transfer it to the YouTube channel. So for now, I'm just setting up. We're going to get things going shortly. Please, let's stand by who my boy, Brother Cabo, have to say to us over there in Queen City, Nevis.
Cabos, located at Fountain Village in Nevis, is the go-to spot for your Saturday treats. Tantalize your taste buds with his delectable Cabos Delicacy Goat Water. Or, if you prefer some soul food, then Cabos Punji and Fish is definitely the way to go. Call ahead and reserve at 869-663-9694. Then make your way over to Cabos and enjoy the vibrant atmosphere while you savor your delicacy. Cabos, we are not changing, we are only improving.
Food all over, food all over. You got the food all over.
Yes, that's my boy Cabo. He has the food all over. So I want to say, when you go across to Cabo, just let him know that DJ Marisha sent you, and he will definitely take care of you. Let's take a quick listen to what Sister Carmen have to tell us this evening. Carmen of Carmen Caterers.
Girl Sanja, you know where you can find nice fresh local food 7 days a week, one provision and all kind of thing. Girl, where? Right down there by Shellings, by Carmen Catering Services. Girl, she opposite the bus stop. Girl, and she also cater for weddings, parties, anything you want to cater for, funeral and all. Girl, and trust me, you're gonna enjoy the food. And she also selling bites and Sundays. Opposite the car shop, right down the main road. Girl, you could call 665-1494 or 663-6005 to order your food or go and pick up your food. Girl, the food will be finger licking and you get your money worth. You ain't want nothing better than that.
For sure, you don't want nothing better than that from my girl Carmen. So check out there down on the Bayfront there across from the ferry terminal at Shirlane, Monday to Saturday from midday until about 5 in the afternoon. And on a Sunday, you check out there at the bus terminal in Boyd's Village. Just let her know DJ Marisha sent you. Let's take a quick listen to my boy, brother Daniel, there out of Nevis.
Welcome to Strategies for Business Success, right here on 2020visionradio.com and on 102.1 FM with business development advocate Daniel Arthurton. Each week, Danny will build on a foundation to ensure your success in business. Being in business can be daunting, and Strategies for Business Success can help you avoid the pitfalls. Join Danny right here on 2020visionradio.com, on 102.1 FM, and on your other social media platforms every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. That's right, Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. The time and place for your business dreams to come true.
Yeah, that's brother Danny there for you. You can check him out for your advisor and stuff like that. Brother Danny said he will take care of you, whatever you want. He's there for you. So just let him know what you're there for. Now we're gonna take a quick listen to my girl there, Sister Singing Jackie. She's supposed to be doing a little event this coming on the 26th of the 26th of December. She'll be doing a little event there over at the, I think it's the Sugar Apple, it is. So let's give Jackie a quick plug here for her event before we get into the meat of things. Singing Jackie. I'll be talking to her later on as well, so stand by.
Under the distinguished patronage of Her Excellency, the Governor General de Marcella Library, Queen Singing Jackie proudly presents the 50th anniversary cocktail and cultural concert, still standing and shining. It's a night of elegance, culture, and celebration, hosted by the dynamic duo, Unoma Allen and Chris Roberts, better known as Mighty Shortbacks. Get ready to be entertained by the legendary Grandmasters and Tiano Sounds, plus a packed sideshow guaranteed to keep you captivated all night long. Mark your calendars. It all happens on Thursday, December 26th at the Sugar Apple. The evening begins at 7 p.m. and continues until midnight. The dress code, semi-formal. The contribution, just $50. And don't forget, there's a cash bar available to quench your thirst as we toast to 50 years of excellence. Come and be a part of this unforgettable evening of music, culture, and style. That's December 26th at 7 p.m. at the Sugar Apple. Let's celebrate 50 years of standing tall and shining bright. Don't miss it. Queen Singing Jackie, 50th anniversary cocktail and cultural concert. Still standing and shining.
50 years, my star still sparkling.
Yes, you heard it right. That's Singing Jackie, and her stars is still shining. She will be taking part in the Calypso finals as well. Well, now that we take care of those things, let me get over to my new friend here, newfound friend, new citizen of St. Kitts Nevis, because my good people, I want to tell you all right now, back in World Cup 2007, there were some guys from South Africa, wherever they came from, came here and lick a couple of six over the pavilion, and they make them automatic citizen of St. Kitts Nevis. Some of them might have got land for all kind of things. So there's a gentleman on screen. He goes by the name of Mr. Philip Martinez, and I'm going to ask him this evening to introduce himself and give a quick synopsis of who he is, because we have a lot to talk about this evening. So Mr. Martinez, welcome to the DJ Maurice Show Experience, and welcome to St. Kitts Nevis.
How are you, Mr. Maurice Show?
I'm doing well, sir.
Can you hear me well? Yes?
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you for inviting me on your show. Well, as you know, I'm a film producer, and I came to St. Kitts Nevis early 2021 during the pandemic. And we have invested a lot of money on the island. We produced 10 movies in the country. We employed as much as 100 people, and we bought the OTI Hotel. And since July 2023, I am in America, and I've not left America, working on that CBI investigation, as you know.
Yes, and we're going to be talking about that in a bit, Brother Philip. And there's a lot of distortion out there taking place. So in an effort to have a clean show this evening, let's get rid of that distortion up front.
Yes.
Now, there's some things going around, and people out there making statements about you being a convicted fraudster. Now, I don't care what you were or what you is, but I appreciate you bringing a lot of things to light, because there has been some concerns over the past years about our CBI. And it appears as though without you filing your RICO lawsuit, you wouldn't have known a lot of things. So clear up that for the people.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. And the Mr. Maurice Show, I think it's important for your audience to know that you and I actually, we've never met. I think I called you for the first time 2 or 3 months ago.
Correct.
Because I heard a program where you were talking about the MSR Hotel, and someone gave you wrong information. So I called Dwyer and I said, if you want to go to see my lawyer, you can see all the documents. And since then, I've been providing you some information, documents, to share with you, because you have shown that you have a true, genuine desire to understand what happened to your CBI money. So I think it's important for the people to understand that MSR has made an investigation because, and it's, by the way, the biggest investigation ever made. We spent over $2.5 million in investigator and legal costs. And it took us about it's now 2.5 years as well. To understand what we got ourselves into. And what I can tell you, and what your audience needs to know right from the get-go, is that I've accepted to come on your show and to respond to the question that you have. But as you saw in my last podcast that I did, I was forced to admit that there is a U.S. criminal investigation on this matter, that I initiated this by going at the end of July 2023 to the U.S. authority to provide them the evidence that I have. So I'm able to respond to the question that you have, of course, as long as there are some questions that I can't respond, because it would jeopardize the U.S. investigation from the Department of Justice. And I'm sure you can appreciate that.
I understand that. I can appreciate that. That is why I asked you the question up front
Yeah,
that I asked, because we're going to go into some deep conversation tonight.
absolutely.
And
So
if you cannot answer those questions, just pivot. We're not here to
yeah,
fight
no,
tonight.
listen. I tell you right away that if you ask me how much money has this politician in his bank account, I will not answer that question, because otherwise it will jeopardize. So let me, because I'm going to respond to everything, right? So what triggered us to investigate, right? We were granted the CBI to be a part of the CBI program by Timothy Harris. Okay. Now, we then do what normally do, which is to understand the marketplace. And it's important that you know that our investors, our American investors, flew several times to St. Kitts and Nevis to meet Timothy Harris, to meet Les Kahn, to meet Mark Brantley, to understand that they could invest in the CBI and have a potentially be able to recoup their money. Because, Mr. Mauricio, and that's something that the people don't understand, right? We are the only company that has invested our money first, hoping that we will be able to sell citizenship to recover our investment. This is not how it's done in St. Kitts and Nevis. In St. Kitts and Nevis, you come, they give you a bunch of share, passport to sell, and then you sell them, and then after that, you invest. So we've done it completely the other way around. We've put our money first, okay? And we made 10 movies, and as you know, Prime Minister Drew asked us to buy the OTI hotel. We bought the hotel. We renovated the hotel. So what happened is that Mark Brantley, during the federal campaign, if you remember, there was a lot of political turmoil about the jail project, right? The jail project was a major issue because they said that Galaxy received 5,500 share, which is 22,000 passports, right? And that number represents about $962 million US for a jail that costs $30 million. So obviously there's something wrong here, right? So what triggered our investigation? Oh, someone joined us?
No, that is someone sending a message and it comes through on Google.
Ah, okay.
No one can join us without I accepting them.
Okay. So when we saw those numbers, we say, well, that doesn't correspond to what we have been told by Les Kahn, that let's say that you invest $10 million in a project and you receive a certain number of passports to recoup your investment, right? So at first, it was really having conversation with Les Kahn. And unfortunately, because I know that people have a tendency to forget and to lie. I recorded them. I recorded Les Kahn, and I keep every single WhatsApp message, as you saw from my last podcast, and I keep every email that I sent. And so the first meeting, I confronted Les Kahn with Farron Lawrence, which you know Farron, right?
Yeah.
And Lee Beasley, who's my business partner, who's a former banker. And I told Farron, I said, look, I think that there is something wrong, and I would like us to confront Les Kahn. And I said, Farron, do you mind if we record him? And Farron, said, absolutely, right? So we had a heavy discussion with Les Kahn where he admitted that the passport, your passport, right, are being sold at less than half the legal price. Okay. Now, normally that's something that you guys should be outraged because it's your patrimony, it's your money, right? But somehow the discussion has been very carefully by the conspirator put in a way that nobody's talking about the money. And our investigation, Mr. Morisho, has been to follow the money. Because if you follow the money, you get the answer, right? So very quickly, Lescan admitted a number of things, right? And on August 8th, 2022, if you look at my last podcast, I put on the screen the WhatsApp messages that I sent to Sylvester Anthony, who was or still is probably the lawyer of the Labour Party, and who was the advisor of, still probably is, I don't know, of Prime Minister Drew. And I met Mr. Anthony, and I said, look, you have a problem. Lescan, one, is allowing the Chinese to sell your passport for half the legal price. Number two, he admitted that they have created a company to do the due diligence that belongs to the Chinese, okay? And number three, there is no escrow account for this project, the prison project, right? So on the very first day of the election, I told Prime Minister Drew about it, not the detail, but I told him that he's going to inherit a major problem in his CBI program before his election, right? But I gave the detail, and I suggest that you look at my podcast, and I know, Mr. Morisho, that I sent you the WhatsApp message that I sent to Sylvester Anthony, right? And I said to Sylvester Anthony, do you want to hear the recording? And he didn't want to hear the recording, okay? After that, because, you know, when you're aware of a crime, okay, you're supposed to report it to the authority. Can we agree on that, Mr. Morisho?
We can agree on it. And I just want to say for the listeners online that this conversation that we are having, I could have this conversation with you this evening because I can fact check you on the spot. You have sent me all of the information. Yep. So I know you're telling the truth. The conversation tonight is for the online viewers and for the Kittitians and divisions out there.
And I think it's important for your audience to understand that because I have brought in July 2023 the evidence of the fraud to the US authority, everything that I say, okay, should I say something that it's not true, could be turning against me in a court of law, right? So and I want you to know, Mr. Morisho, that every show, every interview that I participate, I send it immediately to the US federal agent that are investing this case, right? So as you can imagine, I would never perjure myself to say lies. So I did, for immediately after the election, provide the information and offered to Sylvester Anthony the possibility to hear the recording of Lescan. He decided not to hear it, okay? And he told me, word for word, that was later on, but he told me, what he told me was, I hear you, but I don't want to blow our business over this, okay?
Yeah. Hold a minute, Mr. Martinez, because there are some folks online commenting, and I don't want to miss the opportunity because folks are going to try to distort the conversation.
Sure.
So before we allow them to distort the conversation, let me make it clear. You have been having conversation via WhatsApp with some of these players?
In person, but I also have the habit that after you meet someone, you make an email or a WhatsApp to confirm the content of the meeting. So that if later on, they say that it never happened. Well, you can say, hey, what about that?
Correct. So I have those emails and WhatsApp messages in my possession. So I can fact check you if I need to verify anything. But I want to answer another question.
And the U.S. Department of Justice has them as well.
Correct. So I want to answer another good friend of mine, Brother Trevor Carbo Cornelius. He says Martinez must be asked if he feels victorious for the way he is trying to destroy our country. And my response to my good friend Carbo is this. The people who have been destroying our country is the people that you all elected and are supporting blindly. What Mr. Martinez is doing, I have done, is stop the corruption, the criminals that have been taking us for granted. And God knows what else. So
thank you, Mr. Mauricio.
Mr. Martinez is not the enemy. Mr. Martinez is here this evening to present some information to clarify the concerns out there. I just want to put that out there.
And I would like to add something, right, for that gentleman, because obviously I cannot read the messages. And listen, I made a mistake. I should have never filed the RICO lawsuit against the politician. Okay, I should have gone first after Galaxy and Lescan and some other entity, and then later on bring the politician. Because the fact that I brought the politician early in the game has completely perverted the debate. But let me say something to that gentleman. If he hear what I said in my last podcast, right? I have clearly explained that we can help the country to recover $1.2 billion that we know has been defrauded to the citizen of the country. Okay? So if you guys are not interested to recover that money, not a problem. That's your problem. But it appears that the fraud, the money laundering, and the corruption that I have investigated with my team, because I'm not alone, has allowed us to uncover a network, which I've described in my last podcast, of 50 people and individuals across the globe that have made a lot of money. So if you guys are not interested to know how the Chinese have defrauded you of $1.2 billion, well, that's your problem. What I did since August 2022 is to provide to Prime Minister Drew the information. When I went to the US authority, it was in July 2023, right? And I've informed Prime Minister Drew about it. I've informed the Attorney General about it. Mr. Mauricio, you saw on my last podcast, right, that I have sent an email to the Attorney General to inform him, one, that I've remitted all the evidence to the US authority. Two, that until that investigation is over, I will not leave the United States. I put that letter on the screen in my last podcast. You have a copy of that letter, Mr. Mauricio, right? And after that, Prime Minister Drew came to see me in Washington, D.C., right? So I did what you're supposed to do. I first went to the local authority. Let's not forget that Mr. Sylvester Anthony, was the head of the board of director of the Citizenship Program in 2023. Okay? Very few people are aware of that. He was the head First, he was the lawyer of the Labour Party and a special advisor of the Prime Minister. But then he became the head of the board of directors of the citizenship program. Okay, and then he resigned. There was never an explanation. So all I did was always to provide the information for the Prime Minister to decide what decision he should take. The same with the Attorney General. Okay, the number of email and WhatsApp messages that I have with both of them is endless. Okay, so to respond to your caller, if he is not interested to know how your country can recover your money, well, that's his problem. I'm interested to know how I can recover our money because we have what we have discovered goes way above St. Kitts and Nevis. Okay, it's a system that has been clearly explained to the authority, both yours and the US. And I'm sorry, but you know what, Mr. Mauricio? That should have been done by people in St. Kitts and Nevis in the first place to report this. So did I answer that question correctly?
You answered correctly, but follow up to that question. I know you're not, you does not hold a St. Kitts and Nevis passport, so clear up that for them as well.
I never even applied for a St. Kitts and Nevis passport because I'm French, you know. With my French passport, I can go anywhere in the world. I'm not Chinese. I'm not from the Middle East, you know. Thank you very much. No,
all right. So continue with your elaboration. Yeah, continue.
But you know, we have invested tens of millions of dollars in your country and created a lot of jobs, right? And unfortunately, we discovered. Listen, let me put it that way, very clear, so that people can understand, right? In order to sell the share that has been allocated to us, and to do it by the book, we have to do it to sell them at $250,000 US. Okay, so while we were investing the money and being told you will recoup by selling the share at $250,000, while they were explaining that to our investor, our American investor, they were allowing the Chinese to sell the passport at $100,000 or less. Now, that's not a maybe. We have already proven that in the court in St. Kitts, as you know, which is why the Prime Minister, about a week ago, has sent a letter of cancellation to 185 contracts. We have hundreds of contracts, Mr. Mauricio, that have been sold fraudulently for the Ramada, for the jail. That's it. So the question is, why did they give Les Khan? Why did Les Khan structure a deal to give Galaxy 5,500 share, which is 22,000 passports? Okay, and why did he close his eyes on them selling the passport at half the legal price? Okay, well, I can tell you the response, Mr. Mauricio, and the response is in the courthouse of St. Kitts and Nevis. Mr. Les Khan has made, as you know, we have obtained the bank transaction in US dollar from from a lot of people involved, right? Which means that every time they receive dollar or pay dollar, we have that transaction. I went to court in America, I won, and I got their transaction. Galaxy, Les Khan. Well, we have filed the transaction of Les Khan in the court of St. Kitts. We provided the bank transaction of Les Khan to the US Department of Justice. What did I say at the beginning? Follow the money. How much did Mr. Khan make? $40 million, right? Ici. So when you follow the money, you realize who made the money, because Mr. Khan had a contract that he gets paid by the number of shares, right? Approved. So he gave Galaxy a huge amount of passport, right, to sell for the jail, and he made a huge amount of money. Now, is $40 million not a lot of money for you, Mr. Mauricio?
Can't count that high.
Okay, so I'm sorry for the delicate audience that think that I'm not stupid, and I actually discovered how much these people have made. And that number of that particular individual is the only number that I'm prepared to share today with you, okay? Because I've already filed that in the court in St. Kitts, right? So one individual, which was the head of the CBI in St. Kitts, has made 40 million EC dollars, right? Now, that number by itself should revolt the mind of the people, okay? Now, and not only he has made that kind of money, but on top of that, we discovered, and I sent an email, which you can testify, Mr. Mauricio, to the Attorney General of St. Kitts, where I said, we have discovered the name of the due diligence company, the Chinese fake due diligence company, which is controlled by Galaxy, okay? And it's owned by the vice president of Galaxy, right? Obviously, as you know, everything that I do, I send to the US authority, okay? So let me explain something for your audience so that they understand, right? What your country is selling is passport, right? So that people from China or Middle East can travel without visa. They're not lucky like me. They don't have a French passport like me, okay? So do you see 100,000 people that moved in St. Kitts? No. So they want to travel in the United States. They want to travel in Europe. So basically, you are selling an instrument to travel in our countries, okay? So it's kind of shocking to see that Mr. Khan has allowed a fake due diligence company to conduct the due diligence from the Galaxy applicant. And if people don't understand that, that's their problem. I can assure you that the US authority understand that, right? And Mr. Mauricio, as you know, in the past 5 months, okay, there's been 2 different arrests by the Department of Justice of Chinese national, okay, that have been arrested for money laundering and really other really bad crime, including spying on software, okay? And they have a St. Kitts passport, okay? So, you know, I'm sorry, I brought the subject and nobody's responding, right? What do you want me to say, okay? So I hope I answered the question of your caller.
Yeah, you answer it well. As a matter of fact, the same person is now saying that in all of that is with great pleasure and privilege to have you on the podcast explaining.
Well, so I explain. Look, here's the thing, okay? You guys, okay, as a nation, have been defrauded by the Chinese of hundreds of millions of dollars, okay? I'm the stupid imbecile that found out about it, okay? Now, for that, I spent huge amount of time and huge amount of legal costs. But more important, never forget, Mr. Morisho, I came on several occasions to your government to say, here's the evidence. Please watch them, right? So we're going to talk about later on some other things, but I've given for a year the opportunity to your government to correct it, right? After a year, I'm sorry, but when I discovered the magnitude of the network, okay, that it goes from Dubai, Egypt, Jordan, China, Macau, Hong Kong, the US, I said to myself, Philippe, it's too big for you. And you have to go to the US authority, which is what I did, right? So again, Mr. Morisho, everything that I'm saying on that show, your show will be sent, the recording of this show will be sent to the federal agent investing this case, right?
I understand that and I expect that.
Yeah, and that's why, when I talk to you, I don't need to have any notes. I know everything by heart. I've been living this for the last 2.5 years. So the real question is, why was the CIU allowed the Chinese to sell the passport to defraud by selling the passport at half the legal price? This is not a politician discussion. This is not about Timothy Harris or Terence Drew or Denzel Douglas. The system of safeguard failed, right? Now, because you conduct an investigation, you follow the money. And if you follow the money, you then see who benefited the money. And because I was able to get my lawyers, you have to understand, my lawyers in America, they are experts in fraud, money laundering, and what's called the Foreign Corruption Act, right? Because people perhaps don't know that, but Mr. Khan is an American citizen. And that's something very important in this discussion, right? And you have people that you're not aware of that are part of your community that are also American citizens that are involved in that network, okay? You yourself, Mr. Morisho, I believe you are also a US citizen, right?
Yes, I am.
So that gives a new dimension and avenue when it goes to the Foreign Corruption Act, which is a law of 1977, I believe, where it's forbidden for an American citizen to be involved in the corruption of a foreign politician, right? So we've done all those research. And at some stage, we filed a RICO case, which is a civil lawsuit, right? It's a civil lawsuit. It means, so this is very different from the criminal action that we have started, right? We have not started, I should say, by us going to the US authority on a criminal level. That was in July 2023, okay? For the civil, we've done it in May 2024, so almost a year after, okay? Now, to be honest with you, Mr. Morisho, we have invited all these people to come to DC, all the defendants, okay? Because, to be honest with you, what we wanted to say was, guys, okay, listen, here are the contracts, here's the bank statement, we got you, okay? So please stop the fraud, okay? Damage us so that we can get our money back, and goodbye. That's not what they've done. Suddenly, a huge propaganda machine, because Mr. Morisho, You're talking about billions of dollars in St. Kitts and Nevis to the CBI, and St. Lucia, and Dominica, and Grenada. Okay, so you have billions of dollars that were involved. Okay, and some people have made money, a lot of money. Okay, and I'm sorry, I found it. Okay, so what they've done instead is to create a whole propaganda machine, okay, to try to discredit our action. What they didn't know, except the Attorney General, Garth Wilkin, and the Prime Minister, is that we went to the US authority first, because we believe that the most important thing is justice for the people as well, okay? Now, if it offends some people because they like that individual and they don't want to hear that he took a lot of money, that's their problem, okay? As a whole, the Chinese have sold your passport at half the legal price. I proved it in court in St. Kitts. The Prime Minister has acknowledged that a week ago by sending 185 revocation letters, which I'd like to talk about if you don't mind. Okay.
Go ahead, feel free.
So I heard a lot of explanation that the country is not allowed to get that money. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. Anybody that says that, okay, obviously have no understanding of the law. Okay, Galaxy was given 22,000 passports for the jail. Okay, now they're not supposed to sell the passport and break the law of your country under the legal price. Now, I have proven, my company has proven that they sold the passport at half the legal price. We have given to the court hundreds of contracts and invoice that says the real price, okay? That means that the government has to terminate the contract with Galaxy because they committed fraud as a promoter. The sales agent that we've provided, they should be blacklisted because they committed fraud, right? Which means, and I'm assuming, I don't know because we are not in speaking terms with the Attorney General, Garth Wilkin, but I'm assuming that the Attorney General has canceled the contract with Galaxy and asked them to pay back the money that they've kept before he sent those letters, okay? But the government is totally entitled to ask the fraudulent applicant. Let's not forget, these people, the applicant, they know how to read, they fill their application, they know what the legal price is. Now, if Galaxy and the sales agent gave them a cacamania, crappy explanation that it was okay to pay less, they've exposed themselves. So they have to pay. And the government does not have in any way, shape, or form to refund them. Absolutely not. And whoever is trying to manipulate the legality of that those facts is just doing that for, I'm sorry, it's just wrong. It's just legally wrong. Galaxy broke the law, right? By allowing and filing applications that were, and let me even go further, right? Lescan made 40 million EC. 40 million EC, Mr. Mauricio. Why isn't the government for filing applications that were under the legal price? I mean, shouldn't the government go after him and ask him to get that money back? Let's, follow the money, give you all the answer, which is why, we are very good. Right now, the propaganda of the conspirator is rejoicing because we dismiss without prejudice, Mr. Morisho, the RICO case. What does it mean without prejudice? It means that we can reinstate the RICO case anytime we want, okay? But what are the issues that I cannot fight today on the civil case, okay? One, they filed for immunity. Immunity, right? The immunity. So to fight immunity in a civil court will cost me at least $1 million, okay? And a long time. I don't want to do that anymore. So, okay, you want to file immunity? You want to play that card? No problem. We're going to dismiss without prejudice for now. But now we're going to wait to see what the American Justice Department does. And because I know the evidence that we've given to the US Department of Justice. And I'd like to say to your audience that for the past year, I've invited Garth Wilkin to go to meet the US Department of Justice. I say, you should go and meet them because you don't like me, you don't believe me, go to meet the Department of Justice. He didn't go. Why? Why? Why is it that as soon as I expose the facts, right, suddenly you have a fake AI recording of me that appear? I'm okay with that. I didn't call Freedom FM. I'm sure they're nice people, right? I send the AI recording to the US federal agent, and they know that it's a fake. I mean, it's so obvious that it's a fake, right? And we're going to find out who did that fake. Believe me, we have incredible people working on this case, right? You, Mr. Morisho, imagine the luck, because I believe in God, and everything that I do, I know that God protects me, right? So when we're doing a documentary to explain the big picture, okay? Because in my opinion, and now this is not fact, okay? This is just my theory that I'm developing in a documentary, right? Now, fact is your country, you, the citizen, have been defrauded for hundreds of millions of dollars by the Chinese who sold the passport under the legal price. Fact is some people have made a fortune because of that. Some of them are friends of yours. I'm sorry, tough luck. If you don't have the courage to face that news, that's your problem. Those are the facts, okay? And I've given all the transaction to the US authority, okay? Now you have to think of the bigger picture, Mr. Morisho. Do you know that Chinese are not allowed to have a dual citizenship?
I wonder, yeah.
They cannot have it, okay? Do you know that if a Chinaman has a second passport and the government find out, his government will revoke his Chinese citizenship, okay? Now, explain to me, because I'm not very smart, I'm very stupid. Explain to me how one lady, Ying Jing, has been capable to come in your country and sell 32,000 passports.
I'm glad you asked that question, because that's a question I have for Dr. Douglas, Timothy Harris, the Attorney General, and the Prime Minister, because this mess started prior to this government.
Yeah,
And-
definitely.
And I saw this lady for myself sitting in the assembly there down at the UN with our new prime minister. So somebody need to tell the people in the country what's going on. So I'm glad you asked the question.
So how is it possible that one woman is responsible to sell 32,000 passports, which means 60% of your local population? That's question number one, right? Now, I have my own theory, right, which I'm sure and which I've shared with the State Department and with the Department of Justice, but that's for them. I don't have the capacity to find out the answer. Let me ask you a question. How is it possible that they're selling in Hong Kong, in China, openly on the market, okay, in beautiful offices, Chinese citizenship, St. Kitts and Nevis or St. Lucia or other Caribbean, directly from their office in China? The new head of the citizenship, Mr. Calvin Saint-Just, where was he last month? In China. We have all the photo promoting St. Kitts and Nevis passport. So how is that possible that you can promote in a country that does not allow dual citizenship, right, to be promoted and sold? That's a question that I have for you, okay? Now, as you know, your country support Taiwan, okay? And St. Lucia support Taiwan as well, okay? I suggest that you see some of the social media from people in your country, okay, that suggest that this, and please, I'm not saying that the Prime Minister is supporting that idea at all, okay? But I did send you, Mr. Morisho, social media posts from people that say, let's dump Taiwan and go with China because we have already so many Chinese citizens. So what's happening is that woman is responsible, okay, to have sold 32,000 passports of your country, and she created a fake due diligence company, which means it puts the United States in a national security breach, the European Union, and also to your country, okay? But, and you know that, Mr. Morisho, because I sent you the email that I sent to the Attorney General, where I give him the corporate record of the fake due diligence company, the name of the person, So this is a much, much bigger issue, in my opinion, than a simple case of fraud, money laundering, which we're going to talk about, okay, and corruption. Let's talk about the money laundering, Mr. Morisho, okay? Mr. Harris, Dr. Harris, the deal that he has made with I hope I'm not taking too much of your time, right?
Man, you have the whole night. This is your night.
Okay, so they have allowed Galaxy to receive the money in China and Hong Kong, which on the Galaxy project. So which means that your country has no control, you're just receiving a government fee, right? But even your government fee, okay, how do you think that you get it? It has to go to Bank of America in the US. That's the corresponding bank, right? And based on the bank transaction that we have, okay, we believe strongly that this whole thing is going to turn out to be a gigantic money laundering scheme. Now, hey, if the guys over there wants to call me name, no problem. It is not for the US Department of Justice to see if what I'm telling you, Mr. Morisho, is correct or not. And I have to tell you, we're wasting a lot of time, because if Garth Wilkin would have gone over the past year to meet the Department of Justice, well, perhaps he would have not allowed the Prime Minister to say some things that are regrettable, okay? Because since I've exposed everything, okay, alors suddenly I'm a gangster, suddenly, is that normal that a gangster goes right away to the feds? I mean, these people are just unbelievable, okay? Now, it's incredible. Mr. Morisho, please, I explained in my podcast that the Prime Minister has processed most of the application of Galaxy, despite me warning him not to do that, right? So what happened after that? Suddenly, the only guy that has invested cash in your country, the biggest investor, okay, I'm a fraudster, okay? And we're going to talk about that. You're going to see it's lovely. Suddenly, a fake AI record you happened, okay? And then, right, Mr. Benta was the guest that you have all the time on your show, was the former chief of police of the U.S. Virgin Islands, right? Flies to St. Kitts with the president of my company, okay? Because he said that we're going to meet with Douglas and with the Prime Minister. Now, what I didn't know, Mr. Morisho, and please do me a favor, tell your audience, what I didn't know, okay, that I found out after the fact, is that you actually went into the meeting with Mr. Benta, with the Attorney General and the Prime Minister, and that my representative have never met the Prime Minister or the Attorney General, right? And we called you after, because I found out about that after the fact, which again, I'm protected by the Lord, by God, right? And I called you and I said, Mr. Morisho, did Mr. Benta try to say that he was representing MSR? What did you tell me? You said no.
The answer to that question was no.
Absolutely.
And the reality of that whole situation, based on the information that is out in the general public now, Mr. Martinez,
yeah,
I was really trying to save the Prime Minister and the country this pain that we are feeling right now. The idea was to try and resolve this matter quietly.
And Mr. Morisho, the only reason I came to your show today as a guest is because I'm protected. I'm in the United States. I'm collaborating on this investigation by providing evidence every week. But you, sir, you're over there. You are a supporter of Prime Minister Drew, okay? And for you to have the integrity to say, Mr. Martinez, which is, I ask you, I said, did Mr. Benta ever ask or any demand? And you say no. And I said, why did the Prime Minister then went to a press conference and lied? What did you tell me? Please confirm. You say, I don't know.
I don't have a clue.
Exactly. So can you imagine that because I've exposed the fact, right? It's important for your audience to know that. Huh? Because I've exposed an international network of 50 fraudsters, okay, that has defrauded your country, that has defrauded St. Lucia, that has defrauded other Caribbean nations on your passport money. And those people, they got the bread, they got the meat, they got the dressing, and they left you the crumbs. okay? Suddenly, fake extortion are made. I'm sorry. My wife and my children saw the video of the Prime Minister saying a lie in front of the people. Now, God, in his infinite greatness, has protected me by having an American citizen, you, Mr. Mauricio, in the meeting, and I didn't know about it. Okay? And when I found out about it, you confirmed that it was not true. So what is the panic here? Why? I mean, can you imagine if I was against the Prime Minister? I mean, what I could do legally for him to lie to his country that we tried to extort him? Well, you were there. And again, you know, I'm a religious person, Mr. Mauricio. It's God protecting me. I had no idea. I've never met you, but of course, as you know, I gave your number and your contact to the federal agents. But why? Why is it that all that cannot be resolved? Everybody knows the truth. Everybody knows that the Chinese sold the passport. Why can't we work together to get the money back from the applicants? Because Galaxy will never give a dime back to the country. Okay, the processing agent, you know, that have exposed some of them, right? The one that made $3,000 per application, they're never going to pay back the country. We know that. But the applicants, they are going to pay the difference because they broke the law. And Mr. Mauricio, that's $412 million on the jail only, just on the jail. Now, the Prime Minister had a budget debate. Don't you need $412 million right now? And I'm being insulted. Fake AI, fake allegation of extortion. Imagine, Mr. Mauricio, if you were not a man of integrity who likes the Prime Minister and you have not been in that meeting. I think it's time for these people to understand that I have been providing evidence to the US authority for the past year and a half. You cannot undo the corruption money. It's printed on the bank statement of US Bank. You cannot undo the fake contract, right? So all those propaganda people, they've got to stop. They have to think of their country, right?
Brother Martinez, not cutting you off, but
yeah,
as you speak, my opinion of this whole situation, and I thought about it earlier today. The situation right now is hot, and people who are trying to defend their friends or their political party or whatever, because of the magnitude of the situation, they would not want to believe it. They cannot believe that these things are happening under their eyes. But in the long run, those with the sense and the understanding will see that what you have done here was help this country and this federation. And at the same time, when the facts come out, because I know the Prime Minister knows my support of him, I have told him time and time again, and I have demonstrated that, they will see that we have done so much to minimize the damage. As bad as things are right now in the Federation, we have done so much to mitigate what could have happened. So I'm not stressing.
But Mr. Well, you're not, but okay. Me personally, if you were in my shoes, okay, be in my shoes for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the AG is not talking to us because he knows that if he goes to see the Justice Department, they're going to show him the WhatsApp messages of Garth saying it's a good scam, right? And they're going to say, so how many of the application have you processed under your watch? But everything can be worked out. You understand? At the end of the day, I'm after recovering the money that I've lost, okay, and recovering the money that the country has been defrauded, okay? Now, isn't it impossible for us to have a discussion and see how we can resolve that nicely? Because if it's not going to be resolved, we are past the way of fake AI and fake allegation. You know, this is not, you know, everybody knows the reality. The State Department knows about it, right? I'm happy if the AG wants to call me, I'm happy to put him in touch directly with the people at the State Department that have been fully briefed for months. Okay, the law has been broken. The people of the country of St. Kitts and Nevis and St. Lucia has been defrauded. Why can't we work together on getting the money back so that you guys can have money? Okay, what's wrong with that? In St. Lucia, 50% of the, you have no idea, I receive hundreds and hundreds of messages of thanking me from St. Lucia, okay? In St. Kitts, I get some, okay? But because the media, I mean, do you realize, Mr. Mauricio, that you're the first person that has invited me in St. Kitts to explain to the people what's going on?
You kidding me?
No. The only other one that has invited me is Andre Huey from SKN Newsline. But he said that...
Andre Huey.
Yes, but he said, I'm sorry, he said that if we do an interview, he will have to edit. And I say, I'm sorry, I don't do edit.
We don't edit. We don't edit here.
Because edit means that you can manipulate what I say, and I refuse. So you have no press, right? What you have is everybody knows that the St. Kitts Times is controlled by Timothy's friend, that Mr. Patches, and we're going to talk about that, is attacked the PM, whatever he say. Listen, everybody is screwed up here, okay? Now, I said it in my podcast. I speak to Len Harris often lately. And I told him, tell your brother to come to America. Like I said in my podcast. The earlier he goes to explain himself at the Department of Justice, the better. It's an advice. I only give advice. Nobody wants to go. Why? Let me explain to you another thing that's tragic, okay? And you have in your country a gentleman called Patrick Drahi. Do you know who that gentleman is, Mr. Mauricio?
Don't have a clue.
Okay. So Patrick Drahi is a multi-billionaire. He owns, and he is a citizen of your country, and he owns the biggest property in Nevis. You know, he and I have something in common. We come from the same background, the same origin, and we developed a relationship when I was in Nevis. He's a multi-billionaire. The fact that you have a guy like that in Nevis, it could be an incredible opportunity, okay, to make investment. I don't know if it's still the case because I haven't talked to him in a few months, but he's the gentleman that was or still, I don't know, discussing about redoing the private airport in Nevis. Do you know about that?
I heard some stuff to the news that he was supposed to be someone doing some project with the airport. Yeah.
So just so you know, because I know him well, we're both French Moroccan. We're both from North Africa. I'm sorry, but I'm not your typical WASP. My family is from Africa, for century. Okay, so we are from North Africa, he and I, and he's he's a super bright guy. I mean, he's a multi-billionaire. And I told him, I said, why do you need to redo the airport? And he said, because if something happened to me, I want to be able to, like a heart attack, I want to be able to get out of it and go to a hospital where they can treat me, right? And also because the field is not very good. Okay, so let me explain to you something, how the social media propaganda can destroy investment in the country. Okay. I called you 2 or 3 months ago with Dwyer because for 2 years, a gentleman called Kevin Daly on social media has said to people that MSR is getting $400,000 per month from the NIA, and with all that money, we bought the OTI hotel, right? Now, Mr. Morisho, I called you and I explained to you that you can go to see my lawyer, and we borrowed $8 million and more after that to buy the hotel, and that on the closing, a big chunk of that money went to the government because TDC owed a lot of money to the government, right? So that gentleman was writing for the past 3 years. Martinez is a bad man, is a convicted fellow, when I was 21, by the way. And I explain in my podcast, I advise your audience to watch my podcast because I've explained it already. And by the way, I will be happy to give you the list of people that are associated directly or indirectly to the CBI program that have also legal issue. Okay, so we have all people that are wanted that live currently in the Federation. Okay, believe me. But so that gentleman has made the whole country believe that MSR has been getting $400,000 a month, okay, from the NIA. So, as you know, because you have the letter that I sent to Dion Daniel, and I copied the NIA. You have the letter, I don't have it in front of me, but I think it was in 22 or early 23, okay? And what did I put in that letter? I say, Mr. Daniel, Dion, you have one of your supporters that lies about the fact of what the NIA is paying for the movie deal. The NIA is paying $150,000 per film. Now, the money is paid directly by the NIA to the Four Seasons Hotel for the actors, accommodation, and the balance, the majority of the money goes to you, Mr. Daniel, for your accommodation, right? Which means that Mark Brantley was paying directly Dion Daniel, but because Dion Daniel hates Mark Brantley. So that guy, right, that Kevin Daly, write lies on Facebook, right? People believe it, okay? And so one day I had enough, and I called Dion, and I said, Dion, you're going to call that guy, and I want to meet him in your office. I went to their office. Mr. Morisho, let me tell you, the guy told me, I hate Mark Brantley, I want to kill him, and I don't get anything. And I said, Mr. Daly, why are you writing lies about me when you know that it's your friend, Mr. Daniel, who's right here, who gets paid by the NIA and directly for the deal, right? And he said, well, what do I get out of that? Give me $10,000 a month. And I said, no, why would I give you $10,000 a month? Why do you want to racket me? Okay. And since then, He's been writing and writing anything of lies. Mr. Morisho, can you please confirm to your audience that you have a letter that I sent to Mr. Dion Daniel in 2023, where I told him that he's the beneficiary of the NIA movie contract, and that if he's not happy, he should pay back the NIA. I also sent you, okay, can you please confirm to your audience that I'm telling the truth? You have the email.
I'm actually pulling it up here to give you the exact date. I have everything here in my phone that you sent me. A whole bunch of stuff you sent me, WhatsApp messages and
so
letter.
Yeah. So now I copied the NIA and I told the NIA, you need to stop this bullshit and you need to publish every single dime that was paid for that contract to shut the mouth of these liars. Okay? They haven't done it. Culture of secrecy. Right? Now, to this day, that Kevin Daly and other people still write about $400,000 lie to MSR Media. To this day. And to this day, they still lie about MSR Media having that money. Now, let me tell you why
as a matter of fact, there's a few people you copied on this letter as well. There's a couple of letters you sent me. There's one November 9th of 2022.
Yeah.
And I could turn the screen. Folks can see the screen there that this letter exists.
Yeah.
Right.
And see who's copied. Colin Dorr from the NIA. Okay.
Whose copy here is, it was sent to Dion Daniel. It was CC to Elizabeth Harper, Lee Colin Dorr, Adrian Daniel.
Yeah.
And there was a blind copy to Daniel.
Mark Brantley.
Okay, Mark Brantley. Okay.
Yeah. And now, the NIA and Mark Brantley could have cut it short by publishing the accounting, right? Now, let me tell you why action of propaganda has consequences. This gentleman that I was talking about, the billionaire Patrick Drahi, okay? He has, I believe, 20 acres that he owns at the Four Seasons. Because we have the same background, and you know, it happened that my daughter worked for several years in his company. Okay, so we have the same background, we're from the same town, we speak the same language, and my daughter worked for his company for several years. I have convinced him to go 50-50 partner with me to build a $500 million resort in Nevis. We went to the NIA. They were super excited. When I saw the lies, when I saw that some people on social media were saying that he wants to invest in the airport and maybe he's going to bring some human trafficking, I said to myself, this is insane. I don't want that. I'm out. You understand? How the propaganda destroyed the investment. Nevis lost a $500 million real estate project for the idea that that gentleman billionaire had was to bring 5-6 billionaires in Nevis, which could invest in project infrastructure to, you know, a marina, whatever. And, you know, I said, you know what, just, I'm out. I can't see on social media people saying that he's going to invest in an airport, maybe, I don't know if he still does, to bring trafficking. We don't need that. Nobody needs that kind of ugliness in their life. Since we have exposed what's going on, we receive death threats by email. Project that the US, we received that they were planning to do some fake criminal case against me. We don't need that. This is not how this problem is going to be resolving. It's going to be resolving by cool head and by some people that have, I'm sorry, screwed up to come to their senses. So I wanted to explain to you the consequences of the lie, because this lie on social media, this guy is still right about the 400,000 a month. And I know he even if he knows that it's not true, he still believes it, and people talk about it. Mr. Mauricio, please show the Facebook message, private message of Janice, okay, apologizing to me, okay, because I told her, I say, your family is getting the money from the NIA deal, okay, so if you're not happy, then pay back the NIA and I stop making movies, right? I've sent you the response, and what does she say? I apologize, Mr. Martinez. You have, tell your audience. These people don't know what they're dealing with. They're dealing with someone who keeps everything that I do, I write, I put a record. Okay?
And guess what? You have educated me over the months, so I have my stuff in phone files and folders all over the place. So you could destroy one instrument, I have it someplace else.
Mr. Mauricio, not only it's with me, it's with my lawyers in Washington, D.C., and with the Justice Department. And if I tell you, I don't want to scare your audience, but if I tell you things that we found out that have been done by local promoter, not Chinese, okay, that could create massive problem for the country. Let's talk about the money laundry part. Did we cover the money laundry? That the money comes from Bank of America? Yeah, we did.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I would like you to do before you go into the next segment, because there's a bunch of Nivision online, and they're also asking questions about Nevis. And I know you sent me a whole bunch of stuff on Nevis, so I do not know if you can cover how you arrived in Nevis, the business you were doing there. You started speaking about the monies that was going from the NIA to cover the cast stay at Hamilton and
no. Yeah. And by the way, just so you know, when the NIA paid Dion Daniels, okay, and the Four Seasons, the accommodation, $150,000, I was paying the entire cost of the movie, which is $3 million. Okay, just to give you an idea, per film. I repeat, per film. So what do you want to know? How did we come to Nevis? I met a guy that was doing the promotion video for the NIA and who put me on touch with Mark Brantley and his advisor at the time, Jacob Katzman. And we had a Zoom call. And I said, look, we need a very small island where we can shoot movie during COVID. Okay. And, I believe that, you get a lot of people that say that. By the way, Mr. Mauricio, we have a movie that came out yesterday on Amazon called The Little Mermaid. It's the last movie that we shot in St. Kitts. It's out in the United States since yesterday. So that's how it is. That's how we went, and we called Brantley. We had a Zoom call, made a deal, and 2 months later we were shooting there, and we employed 100 people that were getting 3 times the average salary. And I was told by Les Khan not to do that and to pay them just a little bit over minimum wage, because it was not good to pay the local a little bit more than minimum wage, because it was a bad example for the other company.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to follow the money in Nevis. And like I said, there are some people in Nevis that are still confused. I understand what you said, but for clarity, you was accused of getting some 400,000+ from the Nevis Island administration.
Correct. Lie.
Right?
We were getting $150,000 per film. That money was paid. So a movie, let's say, costs $3 million US.
Yeah.
Okay. We were paying the $3 million US investing, and the NIA was paying the accommodation at the Four Seasons. So they paid directly the Four Seasons. But Dion Daniels didn't want to be seen that he was being supported by Mark Brantley, right? So the NIA, we told them, I said, pay Dion directly, right? But no. Dion didn't want. So the NIA, every time we made a movie, gave us a check, and we gave the check to Dion, which is why Dion Daniel was the beneficiary with the Four Seasons of that NIA deal. And which is why I've asked in the letter that was sent to Dion Daniel to pay the money back, and why his sister apologized. But the social media, oh my God. And you know what? I also blame Mark Brantley, because he has that letter since when? When was that letter sent to Dion Daniel?
November of 22, I think.
November 22, right? So, and what do I ask? I ask the NIA to publish the statement of every payment and Dion Daniel to pay the money back.
You did.
Have they done that? No. So if you guys have a culture of secrecy so that it allows the imagination, know something, it doesn't work with me, because I'm able to show everything. That's the problem. Let's move to another subject, because I think that's,
Yeah, that's clear. Yeah, just wanted, there's going to be some spinners out there that to spin for their people.
But I don't care about the spinners, my friend.
That's why I have to clarify.
Mr. Mauricio, my friend, I don't care. You know what I'm doing right now? I'm waiting for the U.S. Justice Department, right? I'm waiting for the documentary. Look, I was hoping that after my last podcast, because the letter that Prime Minister Drew sent to ask the money back, it's great, but it's going to do it for everybody, okay? So we can collect, so that the country can recover $412 million. I've explained that US in my podcast, okay? Now, the AG wants to still see me as an enemy, where I'm trying to help you to recover the money. It's not going to go well. That whole crap you've explained today, that you were in the meeting where supposedly extort, and you were there. Thank God sent you there, and you're an American citizen. This is a serious problem. Every US agency has been briefed, FinCEN, everything. Can these people act with transparency? Not and country above everything. I don't care what the Prime Minister say. Like I said in my podcast, I'm willing to let it go by about that fake extortion that, unfortunately for him, his friend and supporter, an American citizen, was there, and he denied it. What can I say?
Where we are, Mr. Martinez, my role was to try, like I said, to minimize
the impact.
The
Yes.
mess that we're in, the impact. And that opportunity was missed, and we're in the mess that we are.
Correct.
So we just have to wait until the end of the road. And like I said,
the end of the road is going to be, I can tell you that the end of the road...
It's going to be a rocky road. It's going to be some serious potholes.
Because two things are happening. While one, we are all to wait for the... Can I ask you a question? Your audience can decide whether I'm telling the truth or not. But let me repeat it again. This program will be sent to the US federal agent and the Department of Justice. If I see one lie, they can come after me. Okay? Why is it that no politician wants to go to meet the Department of Justice to verify what I'm saying? Why? Why do they have to bring the country to that scandal for a year and a half when they can simply go and meet the federal agent, the trial attorney, the prosecutor. I mean, please, for God's sake. Because I tell you what's going to happen in January. I'm finishing my documentary where I describe the whole network. And when President Trump is going to be elected, okay, we're going to show the documentary to the US congressman and to the US senator, right? So we don't have to do that. All of that should have been handled by responsible people. I don't know what to say. It's very amateurish.
My concern here, this whole situation that
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand, because, like I said, people could play the semantics as much as they want. I was at a loss myself, but I am privy now to information that I know the general public is not privy to. So I cannot be upset with some of them to say certain things. So we need to clarify certain things. You started explaining about the OTI hotel that your company purchased.
Yeah, we bought it for, we made a loan for $8 million
Correct.
US.
Correct.
Right?
But what I'm trying to get clear, you spoke about the shares that you got, that you had to sell at a particular price.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to get your money back. That was the whole idea.
Of course. I don't need a...
So
I don't need
how you came by those shares? Did it came with the hotel, or that was a separate matter?
No. The OTI was owned by TDC, the insurance company. You know TDC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were selling the building with the CBI share. They actually had much more share than what we got, right? So when we bought the hotel, it came with the CBI share, and and that number was drastically reduced. Okay, so Mr. What's his name, Ian Patches, lies to his people. Again, propaganda. Because if he doesn't read the contract and explain everything, these people, they cannot have the courage to debate with me, because I will completely expose their lie on paper. Okay.
So let me take the opportunity now to invite, whether Ian Patches or the government or anyone out there who is involved in this matter, to come here and let's have a debate. Let's have a conversation with people. I invite every one of them. Let them come. Let's have that debate. Let the people hear for themselves.
Even better, let's have Mr. Harris and everybody involved, to come to Miami. Let's just meet in Miami. We sit at a table, and we talk. And I show things that we have. Let's meet in Miami. They don't have to go all the way to DC. Let's just meet in Miami.
But with all due respect, Mr. Martinez, I'm pretty sure some of them already have target letters, warrants already out there for them. So if they hit the US soil, they might not return.
Do what?
I said, with all due respect, some of those names you are calling may have already received target letters from the US, may have warrants out there for their arrest.
No. Nobody has any warrant for the arrest. Okay. It doesn't work like that.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I just put it out there.
No. But listen, Mark Brantley, okay? I sent him a very long letter this week, 9 pages. Okay? And I say, Mark, you have nothing to do with the CBI. Okay? Why don't you come to DC, meet with the Department of Justice? Find out if what I'm saying is not correct. Come on. So, any more questions?
Well, there's a bunch of questions here, but some of the questions I know is just folks being frivolous. I want you to answer questions that warrant the response to the topic at hand. So I know you have other topics you want to hit it with the CBI matter. So let's move on to that.
No, beyond the CBI matter, I'm hoping that the Prime Minister and the Attorney General, despite the fact that we haven't been talking since a few months, at least for the AG, we don't talk to him for quite some time. I think they should have a dialogue so that we can resolve this matter for the good of the country. Because, and I mean, Mr. Mauricio, let me ask you a question. Wouldn't you like the country to recover the hundreds of millions of dollars that those fraudulent applicants didn't pay for?
What I could say to you, Mr. Martinez, right now, the word on the street and the cry of the nation is the people want a double salary for Christmas. They want the Prime Minister to pay a double. I'm pretty sure if he had those millions, he didn't have to think twice to pay out a double.
Yeah.
That is where we are. But what I'm going to do, it's getting late. I have another person to interview before I sign off. So I'm going to drop a song here, Brother Martinez, and I'm going to give you a chance to do your closing. And you're welcome back. Anytime you have time, feel free.
No, because listen, I don't want to. I think I have my last podcast. I have given an opportunity to first of all, and I've done that with you today. People need to know that this matter is now on an international level scrutiny. Okay, it doesn't matter what the St. Lucia citizenship or the St. Kitts say. This is not only, it's not finished, it's just the beginning.
You're correct.
Okay?
You're correct with what you just said.
It's just the beginning. What's important now is to discuss how it could be positive to the country as opposed to extremely negative, right? And positive for the country is to recover hundreds of millions, MSR to stop the lies and perhaps help us, okay? If not, well, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna keep coming on and telling the truth, okay? And like I said, any politician that wants to know the truth can simply call me or my lawyers, and we're going to put them in touch with the Department of Justice, right? So they can spin all they want their story. I'm happy to meet them in Miami if they want to, okay? It's a serious problem. The people need their money. The country need the money. You know, I have no opinion about how the country is run because I'm not a citizen. My only issue is how the citizenship program has been defrauding the people, the Chinese, okay? How did they defraud the people for over a decade? And why, and who benefited? And I follow the money and I give those things to the... And none of it would have happened if the authority would have, in St. Kitts, would have agreed to look at my evidence.
Yep. There's one other question that you said it so many times. You said it in your podcast. You said it several times this evening. But just for clarity, because we got some folks online just love to ask the same question, expect a different answer.
Okay.
It's about the civil matter. I know you explained the reason why you discontinue the civil matter.
Because they filed for immunity.
Correct.
Okay. So that's going to cost me $1 million. If one of your audience member wanted to give us $1 million to fight that for several months for their immunity, okay, I said, you know what, guys? No problem. We're going to dismiss the case without prejudice, which means that we can reopen the case later on. And we're just going to wait for the US Department of Justice to do their job. That's it.
All right, Doctor.
It's only the beginning, Mr. Mauricio. It's not the end.
You have done a good job explaining yourself and shed light on the situation.
Yes.
I don't know if you ever listen to a calypso, but DJ Maurice, I love his music, and I love to put my music with my conversation.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a chance.
Did your audience find this discussion interesting or not?
Very interesting. And whether the audience like it or not, once DJ Maurice like it, you're on the right track. So
right.
I'm going to jump this track, and I'm going to give you a chance for your closing, because...
Oh, that was not my closing? Okay, I thought it was my closing.
No.
Okay.
I'll give you your closing in a bit, but I want you to hear some calypso, because I don't think the time you spend in St. Kitts anybody allow you to listen to calypso.
Okay, no, I did not.
We got a sister island here by the name of Antigua.
Yeah.
That some artists came together and we produced a song speaking about a nation to build and a country to mold. Lyrically, it's for everyone, especially with what we are dealing with right now. So take a quick listen to the lyrics in this song.
Two islands, one country, A and B, Antigua, Barbuda.
Like we have lost our sanity, and we are ready to sink this country. Took moon and some must share the blame for spoiling our country's name. The contributor is the little our nation's downfall. Oh me, oh my, we're not patriotic at all. But I'm fighting together, not among one another, is the only war we should wage. Only sober decision will prove we have come of age. Every citizen to the cause of justice must rise. We must live together and not rationalize. Dedicated to your country, cause with body, mind and soul. We have a nation to win, a nation to win, a country to hold. We have a nation to win, a country to hold. Where is your sense of loyalty? What is your contribution to your country? None at all. Where's the concern for the suffering majority? Take gas and strikes do no good for your country. We have been afraid to make a success of this nation, but we fight and blind no brain coordination. But are we fighting together, not among one another, is the only war we should wage. Only sober decision could prove we have come of age. Every citizen to the cause of justice must rise. We must live together and not rationalize. Dedicated to your country, cause with body, mind and soul. We have a nation to win, a nation to win, a country to hold. We have a nation to win, a country to hold. We're too preoccupied with politics. We make our decisions just for kicks. Various diseases are on the rise. To these and more, we're closing our eyes. Let's get down to the task of nation building one and all. And as the anthem says, let me rise to our country's call. When it's fighting together, not among one another, is the only war we should wage. Only sober decisions will prove we have come of age. Every citizen to the cause of justice must rise. We must live together and not rationalize. Dedicated to your country, cause with body, mind and soul. We have a nation to win, a nation to win, a country to hold. We have a nation to win, a country to hold.
Brother Martinez. Good evening, Brother Benta. See you online. Tap your screen, open your mic. Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing, my brother?
And good evening to both you and the guests. And in this thing, Mr. Martinez is there with you, and I'm pretty much sure the people of St. Kitts and Nevis are listening.
Mr. Benta, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. I see that your passion for the country is still strong.
Very strong. You know, and I said it, and you live in the US, Mr. Benta, and so do I. But for Mr. Mauricio, who lives in St. Kitts, to be a supporter of Prime Minister Drew, and to have the integrity to say that he was in the meeting and that no one has ever tried to extort and it was a fake claim, is the real hero here. And God, who protects me, everything I do, send him in that meeting because I didn't even know about it. I found out, I think, a week after that he was in the meeting. So Mr. Mauricio, I owe you a debt of eternal gratitude for having the courage to tell the truth. So thank you, sir. That's what I would like to say, Mr. Mauricio. Are you there?
I'm here, I'm listening. Yeah.
So you know, that's number one. Because it's important that people know that unfortunately, again, someone gave terrible advice to Prime Minister Drew to talk about, to lie about extortion and all those fake AI. This is not how this is going to be resolved. I'd like to say something. This is the problem and a criminal network that has been operating for over a decade. It's at a level where I've said it in my podcast. Mr. Benta knows the seriousness of the issue on the US side of it. It's at a level where the people in charge should start to understand that it's time to have a frank discussion how to contain that problem and to get the money back from the people, from the fraudulent applicant, so that the country can recover hundreds of millions of dollars. So that's it. This is not something that, you know, Prime Minister Drew has been, I'm sorry to say, but he's been terribly advised. Because
while you're at it, Mr. Martinez, of course, you know, Mr. Martinez is now, by federal statute, a volunteered whistleblower.
Yep.
But there's been a lot that has been said here tonight. And my role from the other side, I know you're trying very hard to work with the members of the Eastern Caribbean Islands.
Yeah.
The Department of Homeland Security, by way of protection of our shores and every citizen within our backyards
in the
as
US
citizens,
yeah,
our responsibility is for the protection of those who are not in the positions to defend themselves, but as well as to bring clarity and prudency to the action and acts of individuals who are prudent, guided by legal counsels, of which every minister or ministry of the governments of the East OECS has. And in listening to a lot of what you presented tonight,
Mr. Benta,
I needed to be reminded that now you are a volunteered whistleblower. As much love as you may have and concern for the people, this is now based on what you have done now, provided to the Department of Justice. On the US side, I would ask that this podcast, henceforth, that furtherance of information that you provide.
I have not, I don't know if you heard the podcast, but I've explained that I will not disclose the 40 million EC dollar that Lescam has made out of the scam. That was already public record because we filed
so that you know, right? But so that
Yeah.
you know, there are many agents that are listening to this podcast right now.
I know.
And
I know.
it was intended for me not to join, but you're in the safe zone. But we don't want it to go further where more is said.
No.
Because now,
and I've said to Mr. Morisho,
yes.
Look, I didn't give any names. Okay, I didn't say who got the money. I only mentioned Lescan because Lescan have already filed that in the court, so it's public record.
It is public record. That's correct.
It is public record.
Yes.
The problem is that in St. Kitts and St. Lucia, the propaganda media have promote an euphoria, thinking that it's over, when we both know that it's only the beginning.
But I think you should have explained as well. Part of the reason why you also alleviated the individuals under the RICO Act, even though they claim diplomatic immunity, which is known, but once you have switched and now have filed with the U.S. Department of Justice,
that there is no immunity. There is no immunity.
Exactly right. Because it doesn't stop the process.
Yeah.
It now speeds it up, because now the U.S. government does not like to be in between litigation and lawsuits.
Yeah.
It normally allow for that end to finish first.
Exactly.
Then, so I would ask, and I know, Mr. Marisha, you're the one that got me into this, really. And now
because I think it's important for the audience to know how we met. Is that I was watching a show because I know you're a regular on the show of Mr. Morisho, and when I realized that you were a former chief of police, and that you are in very much contact with Homeland Security as well in the U.S., and especially a certain congressman. We don't need to say more. I've asked you if you would be interested to come to DC to be interviewed for my documentary about the security issue created by the Chinese in the Caribbean. And you came, and that's how we got to meet each other. So we met through Mr. Morisho.
I would say thank you, and that is in fact true. But my role here tonight with both of you, because of where this is at, it is no longer an issue where the individuals of which were under the RICO, under what you filed, that it's in your purview now. It is now under the Department of Justice.
Correct.
And as such, a lot of the information we listened to tonight, we were cringing because, of course, we don't want to prejudice our case. Your love is profound for the country, Mr. Martinez.
I do, well and Mr. Benta, you also met Dr. Douglas several times with my representative in when you went in the country, and he said, "Please come back, make movie, invest more money." We're happy to, but our situation has to be worked out first.
Sure, take a drink of water. Take a drink of water, because you've been talking for a little bit. And listen to me for a little bit.
Anyway, gentlemen,
I know you're cutting short.
I am already 2 minutes prior to my sign-off time. I gave Mr. Martinez the full length of the show. My teacher is standing by, waiting for her interview. It's 50 years since she's been singing Calypso. And I am telling you all, nobody get in between me and my teacher.
Well, no, would we? But I'm glad that we.
So you all have exactly 1 minute for me to swing over to my.
Well, I'm off.
That's it.
Let me get off quickly.
Let's hope that this podcast and your show, Mr. Morisho, will help to have cool head talking and discuss instead of going into the direction that it's going down.
And I will join you next week, because this has a lot more to be said. However, my cautions came in because, of course, Mr. Martinez is no longer the person managing this case going forward. His love is profound for the country. But now that he has changed the arms and the hammer and the gavel to someone else, the matter continues on the federal investigation. Now, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And have a good evening.
And I'll tell you guys this. I won't be here next week. It's Sugar Mass in St. Kitts Nevis. This is my final program for the evening, and that's why I really wanted to get the matter of the CBI out. I won't be back here until the 7th of January, God spares life, if I'm still around. So this is my final podcast of the year. Unless something serious comes up, like my teacher, Wendy Crown, then I'll come back to interview her.
God bless Mr. Maurice Shaw, and once again, thank you for your invitation.
All right, thanks.
Good evening, gentlemen.
I'm going to drop out with my teacher new song here, Still Standing Strong, Shining. So, my folks, let's take a quick listen to the new release by Singing Jackie, Queen Singing Jackie, my teacher, and then we're going to have a quick chat with Singing Jackie. Stand by.
I walked through Calypso's door with my first song on feminism. Though just a teen on that topic, I was real keen. I let loose my pen on injustice faced by women. From the outset, men jump on their high horse, getting real upset with my female discourse. Then a few sexist men saying this art I wouldn't pass them. I'm so happy I didn't fulfill their prophecy. 50 years still standing and shining. 50 years my star still sparkling. 50 years, that is no small feat. This golden legacy, God not man gave it to me. 50 years, and it's a feeling that oh so sweet. Yes, I never wore a national crown, but I'm very proud of my contribution. Tell haters no come for me. I'm singing my story of 50 years, standing and still shining. 50 years, my star still sparkling. I give the praise for these 50 years to see flowers and inhale their sweet fragrance. During these 5 decades, I've heard many accolades given to icons after their transition. Self-praise is no recommendation, but I don't blow my trumpet without permission. Not waiting on John Public to say I'm a maverick or praise openly my verbal dexterity. 50 years still standing and shining. 50 years my star still sparkling. 50 years, that is no small feat. This guy's so legacy, God not man gave it to me. 50 years, and it's a feeling that oh so sweet. Yes, I never wore a national crown, but that ain't stopping me from tooting my horn. Tell them trolls no come for me. I'm singing my story of 50 years, standing and still shining. 50 years, my star still sparkling. Those who took the time to listen my songs line by line, no, these lyricists don't indulge in nigger business. Not one my song smutty, not a phrase of vulgarity. Strictly local, no foreign music at all. I don't have to call anybody's name. People always know who to blame and shame. When I chastise the greedy who love eat on the treasury, you won't hear from me whether it's he or she. 50 years still standing and shining. 50 years my lyrics still flowing. 50 years, that is no small feat. This golden legacy, God not man gave it to me. 50 years, I never surrender or retreat. If I were to sing all my songs, they would be an endless marathon. Instead I go write a book on all the knockout I took for 50 years, but I'm standing and still shining. 50 years, my star still sparkling. Now the time has come to take my final bow from competition as a top calypsonian. Yes, I'll pave the way for the Kaiso queens of today. The love for the art will always be in my heart. The youths I'll be encouraging to master the skill of Kaiso writing. Don't be just a good singer, learn the history of the genre. Your loyalty will lead to longevity. 50 years still standing and shining. 50 years my stars is sparkling. 50 years, that is no small feat. This Kaiso legacy, God not man gave it to me. 50 years, and it's a feeling that oh so sweet. I'm proud of my contributions. So begun. I know I'm one of a kind, not a soul bundle my shine of 50 years standing and still shining. 50 years my stars still sparkling.
Yes, teacher, Queen Singing Jackie. Welcome to the DJ Maurice Experience. How are you doing?
Oh, good evening to Marisha. I'm doing pretty fine. I'm blessed. I'm happy to be alive, seeing all that's going on these past days. To give God thanks and praise.
Guess what, teacher? You don't look at the past 50, so I don't know what kind of 50 years you're talking about. You're singing, you know.
You stayed here with that. Yes, I give God thanks for nowadays I see the younger ones dropping off, leaving the older ones for whatever reason, whether it's crime, whether it's natural or unnatural, people are just dropping.
Anyway, the song speak for itself, but you know how I have to do it because you taught me well in school. There are folks online who might be just coming for the first time. I might want to know who is that lovely lady. So could you give a quick synopsis of who is Queen Singing Jackie?
I think if I did 50 years, I think everybody knows me by now.
That's what I'm saying, but people see me every day, they still don't know who I am until I speak. You know?
Yeah, well, teacher by profession, even though I have retired, I gave that up last year, 2023. But I'm still doing some volunteer work because once a teacher, always a teacher. And the singing, I'm also going to give that up after this final. And let the younger ones take over. And well, they're taking over anyway. But I think I've done my best throughout those 50 years. And I just tell them, catch me if they can. I may not have gotten any crowns, but those years, it's going to be a feat that's going to remain there for quite a while.
For sure. Well, I just about to say queen, but I have to say teacher. This song, I must say, very nice, very smooth, very groovy. I could see you sliding across the stage. I could only imagine your presentation that you have in place for this. So I'm pretty sure the audience is going to be in for a treat and you're bowing out at the finals.
That's my intention.
Yeah, well, we just had a 2-hour tour there.
Oh, I don't even want to go there. At one point, I wanted to call you and tell you put it off because you know Big Lice is on tonight.
Yeah.
And I listen to Big Lice as well. So, I don't know how many people switching back and forth Wednesday night.
Well, I can tell you, when I'm on, the folks who locked in here, they lock until I sign off. That I can tell you.
Because they love your politics. And I said I was going to say to you, when you see Carnival come, I sing a little bit of it now and then, but I don't want this full-blown politics. And as you said, you're not having any more. That's why I stayed.
Yeah, this is the final one for I got to give the Carnival a chance to take place. But
yeah,
I am laughing because the question I'm about to ask you is, teacher, when you see this little black boy from St. Paul's sitting in the class so quiet back in the days, you never expect
quiet today. Oh boy, quiet.
Teacher.
I am not surprised that you are doing this, because Marisha, you were always controversial.
I was?
Yeah, you did not you question. You question things, and that is what we want. We don't want people to accept things wholesale. And sad to say, there are people who are like that because you support somebody or you're against somebody. You have to look at the two sides. And you realize when the truth being told or the lies being told. Because nobody is going to say it's fish, it's stink. Everybody is putting forward his or her case.
Correct.
And it's up to you to be a critical thinker, listener, everything, and work out what's going on, because all these things didn't happen overnight.
Oh no.
People were quiet, and then all of a sudden, boom, everything, as you would say, the doo-doo hit the fan. And so we got to wait and make sure it doesn't drop on us.
And
weigh things, waiting the funds.
The funny thing is, Jackie, I had a grandmother there. I used to say she bust my ass for no reason, but I believe that she bust my ass for a good reason. Because she always tell me, stay out of people's business, stay away from trouble. If you're in there, your name ain't gonna call. But my name called in a lot of things that I was not there. But this particular instant, I got involved to try and make things don't get the impact it has now for the sake of the Prime Minister and the country. And some people make bad decisions, and as a result, we are where we are. But that's okay. Let's move on to your event. You have an event coming up. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Tell the people about that.
Yes, on Juvenite, I call it. Well, I did 10 years ago. I did my 40th. And it was Juvenite because everybody does not get him or herself involved in Juve. And so I decided to do it Juvenite when it was a cool down and the more mature people would attend. The little ones, the younger ones would be flat out drunk. Trust me. I've seen them, see them on the side of the road and whatnot. So I don't expect most of them, to attend. But I've been getting some good feedback because it's my final year. And the people who supported me over the years, regardless whether I place or place not, they always encourage me. And they have given me some good, people tell you they're going to do things and then they don't. But I know the type of persons who support me, they are going to show up. And believe it or not, a lot of them are men. You hear me sing about the men. I sang about the men because there were men who were upset in those early years that this little girl from Newton Ground was making it to the finals every year. And so I used to get my blast in a negative way. But then later on, as the late Lord Black had told me, it was just a male egoistical kind of thing why they used to say what they said. And he was one of my strongest supporters. And being the DJ on ZIZ who did National Showcase, who introduced National Showcase, he featured me a lot. And he would tell me things like, I bet you don't know which is your best song. And I would name all of them and he would say, no. And he would tell me which one he considered to be one of my best then. And so I'm saddened that he's not around to see me do the 50 years. And you know, in retrospect, when I look back after the 40th anniversary, I realized a lot of people who came to the 40th anniversary are no longer with us. Yeah. And he's one of them. Mick Stokes, Dawn Mills, who was my mistress of ceremonies for the 40th. She's also gone. And I could go on. And it really tells me we got to stop this nonsense of hating one another because of difference of opinion. I don't care who you support. I really don't care. I have a lot of friends from the opposite side because if you see me in my red tonight, you know, I'm a red devil. And so, but it's not going to blind me to the fact that there are some things that are not going well, according to my good friend. So, and that is what people, they blackball you because you may say something or sing something, thinking that you hate the individual. We should not be this personal. The politics should not be that serious that you're going to stop talking to people because of their views. Let us agree to disagree. But the name calling, Lord, I afraid Facebook, you know, honestly. And that is another reason why you see I'm bowing out too, because on the stream, you know, we broadcast things online now. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when I look, I don't have Facebook, but my husband does. And so he would draw my attention to things that are being said, whether about me or others. And I said, they don't even know me. But the negativity, man, I can't put up with it. And the way they rip and tear each other down. For sometimes I'm wondering if they're listening to the show, they're watching the performance, that they're just answering one another. See who could go the lowest with the comments. And I really can't take it. Call me thin skin or whatever when it comes to that. I am not going to, I just don't listen. I just don't look. Sometimes they send it to me because as I told you, I don't have Facebook. And things get around. But I wish that they would come when, as I simply put it, agree to disagree without the negativity.
Well, the funny thing about it is, you know, I had to develop a situation where you cannot stop people from posting nonsense. They hide behind the keyboard, whether it's on their phone or on their computer, wherever they are. But I developed one thing, is that they could have fun. But anytime they cross that line with their lies, I'm going to respond. Because if you leave it alone, you know, they're going to think it's facts.
That's the business. I really don't care. At my age, I really don't care. When I could take myself out of it, they say what they want, yes, but I really don't care. I'm not going to defend myself to people who believe what they want to believe. I'm not going to do that. But back to my show. As I said, it's going to be on the 26th, that's Juve night. And we're starting promptly at 7 under the auspices of the Dame Marcella Liebert. Simply because I asked her, simply because when I wanted, one of those years when I wanted to actually stop singing, she was the one who introduced me to the female calypso show. Because I was making it to the finals, I didn't need a female show to get me into the finals. So they used it as a nursery for the new females. And I decided to go along with it in that year. I think it was 1995. And that gave me the impetus to go on, to continue and competing with the younger ones, because there were lots of females, but they were not making it out. So then you had people like Anastasia, Kibi, and Gloria Esdale, and all of those start coming out, out because of that female show. Alas, they had to get rid of it in a way, or finish away with it, because the dance couldn't pay for the lights, as they would say. And the first show we had in 95 was a free show down on the Bayfront. It so happened, I thought I would have won that, but Jacinth Henry Martin beat me to it. And so it seemed as though my thing in life when it came to Calypso was never to get, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. That's what my way of putting it. Or I would say, I am Moses, if I could find a female name for Moses, in that I set the pace, but I am not going to see the promised land. And that is how I took it. After a while, I know I had opportunities where people thought that I had won. I claimed the first one up in a couple occasions. So that showed you how close I was to winning sometimes. And in the female show, I never ever not placed. That female, all the years I've been in, I always placed. And that gave me, and then eventually I said, I love the art form. Because one thing about me is that I write for myself. And once you see you're writing for yourself, nobody could keep you back. Nobody could keep you. And that in that song, if you listen, in the last verse, I said, one of my things, I'm going to encourage the younger ones. If they could bring up this thing where we did it like how we used to do it, go in the schools. Anything you want to flourish in any nation, you got to go into the schools. So when people bawling about certain cultural things not living on, it's simply because we are not targeting the schools. Anything. But when it comes to patriotic stuff during independence, it's the schools. It's the schools. And in everything else, it's the schools. I'm very passionate about teaching. I spent all my years, that was my career. And Calypso basically second. Calypso was once a year. I used to call myself Cyril. I only came out during December. But I really love the art form. It's bittersweet leaving, but I made up my mind since last year that I want to make the 50. And I hope I make it to the finals for my 50. And just like how I began, making the finals and doing my best in that finals. And what happens.
Teacher, the thing about it is, as I listen to you speak, I realize we let these politician after politician, and they're visionless because they're not really seeing the culture that we met. The culture is falling apart because people are not showing the interest. They don't care. You put people on boards who doesn't even understand. I can say to you, there were people that they and I speak over the years about what was going wrong with the Carnival Committee and how things have been done. We all agree to what needs to change. And guess what? The Indian one, you can't talk to them.
Let me tell you something. I who have been around for those 5 decades, I have seen and marvel at the fact that, let me tell you something, eventually things, if you see these young people don't take to Calypso, like how people like me, I can see Calypso that is dying a slow death anyway. The audience is not the same. People would say it's because certain individuals are not in and whatnot, but it's the treatment. If I were to tell you some of the stories when it comes to this Calypso art form, I don't know if you all realize that the traditional shows are now not in carnival per se. They have been pushed forward. So people coming in who want to see the Queen and they coming in on the 20-something, sorry for them. Queens, you're going tomorrow night. And they would say, well, the money is not being made. The only thing that is way back now is the panorama. The panorama is back for people to enjoy because, again, it's young people. The schools, anything, any show that, let us say the base is the school, they are well attended. They are well because parents going to come with their students, with their child, and teachers are going to show up, and so on. And so young people follow young people. It's not a matter the young people want something different. And that is the misconception people have. Oh, you all old and young people decide. Let me tell you, I've spoken to a lot of young people and you would be surprised. Sometimes they think deeper than the adults. You see this skin, bikini, and beads thing? I have another song that I call Groucherella, and I plan to do it on Thursday night. And that Groucherella speaks to skin, bikini, and beads now. So I'm going to sing skin, bikini, and beads, and then I'm going to do Groucherella. So you could see how debased we have become. If I thought skin, bikini, and beads were bad in that day, when I did Groucherella, oh my God. And you know where I got the idea for that song? From the students. So when they're saying, oh, it's young people thing, is yes, young people doing things, but I've seen adults who are doing worse than the young people, the younger ones, so to speak. And so I got them into a conversation about what they think about the parade, how the parade is going. And that was in St. Thomas. And I started there, but then I didn't sing it last year because I heard how they went on with Dwyer when Dwyer did a commentary on the parade. And I said, you know what, Jackie, keep out. Keep out. So I never released it. I didn't release it. But that is how songs come about. It's not from me per se. Yes, if it's with the same feeling I have, I will quicker get it done. But when you see it's coming from young people, it made me put pen to paper because, and sad to say, it's the women. The men are more fully clothed than the women. I don't mind the gyration. I like to see people walk up, as we say. But this bending over thing, exposing their whatever on camera, I can't take it. I've seen some. Before I finished that song, I looked at the parades in the region. And oh my God, it's the same. It's the same. I saw some things from last year Trinidad parade. Awful. And it was the men describing what they saw. And the thing is about it, I think some of these females, they only do it when they are intoxicated, because I have seen some who behave, so to speak.
You know what amazing? I look at some of them on Juve morning. When they spread out, I could see the ribs them inside. The inside of the ribs them, right?
Okay.
But carnival done, and you go into the bank or these public offices, and their clothes is so tight they can't even walk properly. And they're pulling down. But they pull off everything on the street.
On the street. But they say that's a way to relieve stress. But if that's a way to relieve stress, I got to die from it.
That's how you go.
So you go.
Well, sister, I got an ad here for you now.
Oh.
Can I drop it?
Yes, drop it.
All right, thank you.
Under the distinguished patronage of Her Excellency, the Governor General De Marcella Library, Queen Singing Jackie proudly presents the 50th anniversary cocktail and cultural concert, Still Standing and Shining. It's a night of elegance, culture, and celebration, hosted by the dynamic duo, Unoma Allen and Chris Roberts, better known as Mighty Shortbacks. Get ready to be entertained by the legendary Grandmasters and Tiano Sounds, plus a packed sideshow guaranteed to keep you captivated all night long. Mark your calendars. It all happens on Thursday, December 26th at the Sugar Apple. The evening begins at 7 p.m. and continues until midnight. The dress code, semi-formal. The contribution, just $50. And don't forget, there's a cash bar available to quench your thirst as we toast to 50 years of excellence. Come and be a part of this unforgettable evening of music, culture, and style. That's December 26th at 7 p.m. at the Sugar Apple. Let's celebrate 50 years of standing tall and shining bright. Don't miss it. Queen Singing Jackie, 50th anniversary cocktail and cultural concert. Still standing and shining.
50 years, my star still sparkling.
Do with this. Well, teacher, I know you say you want to go watch Big Lights, so I am going to drop a second track for you. I do not know if it's a track you plan to sing finals night, but I think this is a new song I received from Mr. Leader. And I love to give to the general public what music I have, because I don't think you're going to hear some of these things on ZIZ, because even this big carnival, all I'm hearing is raga raga and all kind of thing from reggae and this and that. I don't understand.
No, they play them, man. What they do, they put them in the mix, like the computer plays them without any comments.
Like that?
They just they let them. I don't know.
But I think how we used to do it, Jackie. Up to today, I was at ZIZ, and one of the workers there, one of the older guys, was reminding me of when I used to be doing the midnight till morning shift, and playing all of the locals and whatever I want to know. Why I'm not doing it. Another guy want to know, did the minister reach out to me about playing down in the square, because back in the days I used to be down there jamming all the road march during the day when the tourists and the folks come into shop. But like I said, there are people who was out here talking with us about ideas, but they're gone in there and the ideas them there. They don't want to hear about it.
So it go.
Yeah.
It's changing. It's young people in charge. I had a conversation with the older ones when I tell them that I'm going to finish. And they said, well, the last of the Mohicans, because it's the younger ones, things are changing, the type of songs, and I don't even want to go into that tonight. But
can I give you a secret?
Yeah.
My boy Astro get his ass bussing last year, and he went to sleep upset. He get up and say he retire. And I let him know. Say, you can't just retire without marriage. I give you the okay now. He came back out and he win crown in Nevis,
Yes.
He came back out and he win crown. So I'm saying to you, teacher, I challenge Sweeney. I challenge Sweeney. I say, even if you're not going to go into any competition, Sweeney, even if you want to redo your old songs, you have to do something for me. I got a track here for Sweeney. I'm going to drop it for you before you leave. But I want to drop the second track for you because you said the time is now. So I want you to explain to the people when the song finish what the time now is, because what's going on out there right now. If I go down in the shoreline to play a game at Dominion, if 20 people down there, 18 of them are smoke marijuana and cussing and fighting. So this is the time we're dealing with. So let me drop this track and let's talk to the people. Oh yeah! Queen Singing Jackie! The time is now.
If shame was a person, it would surely be me. The way I open my feelings about crime in our country. When I reflect on the words of our national anthem, our state of affairs would be so willy-nilly. Behaviors are getting worse, people acting as if their cause and only bruising. Ill will still keep spiraling. Petitions, we say we love this nation and want to end to all detention. Time to do so is now. Need visions if we want to work together and stop it spreading like wildfire. Time to do so is now. We got to stop the useless talking, prove that we not skylacking, and the time is now, not tomorrow but now. If we want this federation, we claim its good reputation, bring back that love. The time to do so is now. If selfish was a person, it would be each one of us. The way we use I, me, and mine make it obvious. All for one and one for all, no belong in the past. For we take pride in putting each other on blast. Day in, day out, we blowing hot air on every talk show, letting the world know how little we know. We use the tongue like a weapon, fighting for high position, going up the ladder. We push down who we climbing over. Hitting the visions, we say that we love this land and want to uplift our fellow man. Time to do so is now. Need petitions if we want to live in peace and the tongue violence to cease. Time to do so is now. We have to stop backstabbing each other. Done with the empty chatter. The time is now, not tomorrow but now. Engage in issues that matter. Be a positive influencer. Bring back that love. The time to do so is now. Betray was a person, it would be all politicians. The way they wheel and turn after winning elections. I believe they involve in identity theft. For no native born with a motto from right to left. It's clear to see, service for them it's personal gain. They don't make the time for who's struggling and bearing the strain. Economic plans in ghost investors, and when we see cancers, they act like we are the traitors. Elected leaders, you claim that you love this land. I want to stamp out corruption. Time to do so is now. Parliamentarians, if you want clean up CI, separate the truth from the lie. Time to do so is now. Time to end tribalism and in the face cronyism. The time is now, not tomorrow but now. Make this land get a priority. Bring back a strong economy. Activate your vows. The time to do so is now.
Well, teacher, you say you know into the politics, but you're right in there.
I just sing.
You writing there, you know, teacher?
I'm singing what I see and hear.
You're right up inside them, man. The time to do it is now. Great song.
I'm not debasing anybody. And that's a problem people have with my songs over the years. They say it when the competition done, they understand what I'm saying. But the thing about one aspect, one component of the criteria is the word craft.
Yeah.
And how you put things in just coming plain out and say, oh, he walking down the road. You could say, oh, he hobbling, he crawling or whatever. Instead of just walking, it brings a better picture. But in that last verse, I thought long and hard because I said, I do not want to offend anybody, but I'm going to sing it in such a way. So let me do like one of my fellow Calypsonians. When I say identity theft, I believe they are involved in identity theft. It's not that I'm calling them no thieves, you know. I'm just saying the things that some of them do sometimes, they don't act like they are native born. And so that's why I believe. And one of the examples is that they're reading the motto from right to left. When you read from right to left, what do you get?
Self above country.
Okay. And that's a creative way of putting it. You don't say they put in self above country. I said they read it from right to left.
Like I say, you're right in there this time around, and they understand it clear. This time they can't miss it. They're going to understand it clear this time.
They don't pretend they don't know. And I said, because every minute we're hearing about investors and projects and whatnot and nothing coming. So I say, it's like it's in ghost investors' hand. The ghost. You can't see.
But,
you can't see them.
But teacher, you know, realize what happened, you know? Sometimes when the investors them come, these people don't give the investors a chance to invest and start making money, you know.
I don't know about that.
I am telling you, they want days off the top, so sometimes the investors can't even get off the ground.
And when I'm talking, another thing that I have to make clear, I'm not talking about current politicians alone, you know.
I'm talking about all of them. Every one of them are talking about.
That's one of them.
Tukman and Bagay, as Mark Brantley would say, every one of them. All they got to do is
hearing too much.
Let them prove me wrong. I'm hearing too much nonsense.
Yeah.
Let them prove me wrong. Let them come sit down in front of me.
The Calypsonians, and I wish them to know, Theo and I had that conversation, you know, where he said what his name? So the Fitzroy Bryant. Calypsonians from the opposition used to sing on him all the time. And I don't hear he said that he did anybody anything, because Theo told me, and I'm going to repeat his story, that he brought him to school, you know, one morning, and he was talking about the Calypsos. The part that the Calypsos play for him, he listened to them because he realized that the Calypsonians are singing what the people are saying.
All right.
Right. And so he learned whether he must ease up off of doing this or, you know, not doing that kind of thing there. And so it would behoove them to listen to the Calypsonian and stop being so thin-skinned.
Well, they're not listening, you know. They're not listening. I can say to you, a lot of them politicians out there today, I sure they're not listening. Because some of them, when I get a chance to speak to them, and I say to them what I'm hearing on the street, they say they don't know. What they're listening to, they got these advisors who just thinking about themselves, that is able to have easy access to whisper in their ears. This is where you got some of them and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boards collecting while other people out there don't even have a job, can't get a cent because they're whispering all kind of bullshit in the ears.
And they feel entitled, and that's the thing, you know, this entitlement. You see me doing show, I didn't go and say, okay, Carnival Committee supposed to award me for this 50 years. Marisha, I planned this from since last year. I said, once God give me health and strength, I'm going to. And when you do things of your own, people are going to help you because they see you took the initiative. But some people just want people to do things for them. I don't. So I'm doing this show. I'm going around to people. I have gotten sponsors, which I'm going to name out a few, you know, who once you go and you explain what they're doing, you don't depend on them. If they say no, they say no. It's either no or yes, that you're going to support me. But I plan this thing, dig my hand in my own pocket to start, to put the down payment on my decorations and those kind of things there. I'm not waiting on anybody. Some people promise and then they say things tight, they can't do it. And I understand. But I am giving myself that celebration. It's my celebration. And if they don't want to join in, they don't. And I have no problem with that.
And I plan to come celebrate with my teacher, you know, am I invited?
Well, if you don't want to come, that's your business. If you put it in dialect, that's your business.
Lots,
yeah, but everybody is invited. It's, as I said, it's only $1 a year, $50 for the 50 years.
Small donation.
When I did my 40th, it was 100, but things kind of tight. Plus, I wanted to be the 50 for the $1 a year, as I said. Sound cheap, but full of value. And
I'm an early sleeper these days, you know, teacher. I don't stay up late, you know, but I'm going to stay up for you.
What? You have a sleeping disease?
It's called lonely. Yeah, I got a disease. It's called lonely.
It's bad, all right, to bring down your other half. Ticket outlets, we have Ben Jacks in Sandy Point. And of course, myself and my husband, and you see us around, you could get tickets. You have Central Service Station right there at the stoplight, and Victoria Road and 4th Street and Cairn Street, that four-way area. And this is to tell you, people, they would tell me, I'm a fan, so I'm going to do it for you. I mean, it was so touching when people would come up to me and say, Lord, you work hard for these 50 years. And then we have Final Touch, that is across from Burden Street, the Coffee Troy Bryan College.
Okay.
It's on the other side of it. And I think we have a few more places. And one of my brothers, Ellis, he would be giving out some tickets for me as well. But
that's my partner, Ellis Hazel, who can't play cricket, who work at the Whitegate development. That's brother?
My youngest brother. Take your mouth off of him.
Well, that's the nicest man in the island right now. That's the best man in St. Kitts right now. That's my partner. That's why I want to make sure. That's the right one.
Buddy, I will defend him. That's my baby brother.
That's my brother as well.
Mm-hmm. And so, yes, it's going to be a good time. We're having a 10 session, my last 10 session. Grandmasters will be playing some selected ones. I didn't touch anybody who is in the final, so I don't want anybody to feel I was discriminating. I said they would have their thing to do, because remember, the final is the very next night, you know.
Oh, yeah?
That floored me, because I said the last time when I had my 40th, they threw me out, but I didn't have anything to do. But now I'm in the finals, I have to go back to back. I go in the night, and then the next night is the finals.
You're capable, man. You're capable.
Of course, I'm going to do it. We may have the age, but some of them young ones can keep up with me.
And anyway, Sister Jackie, before I forget, you know, I want to thank you, and by extension, your husband, because while we under search for Cons, he make sure he tell me you cannot be here, but he making sure he coming to represent. So I want to thank you.
Yeah, I did that. He didn't know that Cons was missing and so on. I heard about it and I said, you got to go. He told me that you were doing it. I said, you got to go. You got to go. And you know, guilt had me too, Marisha. And this is a message. This is something that people should bear in mind. I was up there before he went missing. And I had promised myself that I was going to look for him, you know, because I heard he was in, you know, the home over there. And they would tell me, man, if you go around the island, you will meet him on the side of the road because he'll be there sitting down. And something happened and I didn't. And plus, all of a sudden, that's part of old age too. I get land sick. If I'm not driving, I'm very sick. I have to be the one behind the wheel. But The way I see people driving, Lord, is so much thing. Driving in this place, this St. Kitts, I can't talk for Nevis. This St. Kitts of mine, I have seen people take down. I mean, the accident that happened, it was waiting to happen, you know. Because I have seen some craziness. When I tell you craziness, I don't know what these people are thinking when they drive the way they drive. And then they blame police, they blame this. Yes, everybody have their little blame thing. But most of the time, it's the way they drive, taking down people around corner. Like they could see around a corner. And I've seen it. I don't be so scared. On my way to a funeral of a fellow villager, I cry out, scream out, howling where we're going down because of how these people drive in. It's like they don't want to see anybody in front of them. They have to take you down. And you are going at a fast clip. And another dangerous thing that I've seen is that they're going to overtake and they realize the oncoming traffic and cut back in front of you.
Yep.
You know how to jam on your brakes. I mean, come on, this thing is happening all the time. Every time since I've been here. I came up November and I am scared to drive on these streets. Something happened and they slow down for a little bit. And then the very next day, the same nonsense take over again. I mean, come on. The life you save might be your own.
Definitely. Sister, we could do this again in the new year, but I'm going to drop this track here by the King Sweeney and give you a chance to give your closing.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you taking the time. I know.
I wanted 10 minutes, you know, to boost 10 minutes to boost myself. I didn't really intend to
Teacher, you cannot come here for 10 minutes. Let me give you a story, you know. Dr. Douglas came here sometime in 22. He made sure he put his secretary to call me. Tell me he only got 15 minutes. He got an appointment some places. What do you think his appointment was? To go up in the park to watch St. Paul's team play football. I said, no problem. I give him his 15 minutes. But 2 hours later, Douglas was still here talking, you know. So we know how we go.
You know,
right?
yeah. And plus, I'm a teacher. I really like to talk too, but I don't temper it sometimes.
So Sweeney have a song here. He's singing Calypso again. This is a song that was done.
That's a remix.
It's a remix from back in '84. So lyrically, he changed up some of the lyrics. So let's take a quick listen to that.
Calypso would be my last year. For the way the judges acted, the way they beat me down, they showed their intention was victimization. So as man, I said, brother, in Calypso I have no future. Stick to my teaching, it's a for them to do this singing. But then I remember Lord Cotton Sacco will be afraid to sing about the Labour Prime Minister, and you want to know. And Miss Independent, she won't let you know why the minister's flying round the world just so. I wonder, and I ponder, and for me, fans and them, I come to sing Calypso again.
Oh yeah!
This is my friend, I come to sing Calypso again. A message every year I bring her say I criticize everything. So to avoid the confusion with big reason the nation, my decision, write my resignation. For these days, we all know the AG will suffer slander if you question number 3 about water or electricity. Yes, I remember patches on the radio saying the AG or the social security. Is it really so? And that the minister, big lice enemy, he say he doing well with the CPI money. I wonder and I ponder, and for me conscious friend, I come to sing calypso again. Is the truth, my friend? I come to sing calypso again.
Lyrics, melody. Yeah, man. The King Sweeney. Kaiso, Kaiso.
The pressure that I often bear to make sure I educate you each year about the rat race. Here we all know how impunity surrender, paying thousands to COVID ministers. For some men in my country, it's all about friends and family. Forget the things that we do. The good Lord above will be judging too. Yes, I remember the PM tell me the peace project belong to Timo and family. Is it really so? And how 20 million he can't understand would just go missing from our development bank. I wonder and I ponder, and for me conscious friend, I come to sing calypso again. Is the truth, my friend? I come to sing calypso again. I remember our auntie and fellow, not the school teacher, not the former prime minister, as you want to know, but a famous pastor, the one that you know. I just feel to call him name in me calypso. Yes, I wonder and I ponder, and for me friends and them, I come to sing calypso again. Is the truth, my friend? I come to sing calypso again.
The King Sweeney is back to sing calypso again. Thank you, my brother. You make the DJ proud. I'm definitely gonna have a Merry Christmas with this one. Yeah, teacher. We're gonna sing calypso again.
Yeah, that was he was the person who used to pull us out in school to when we were juniors in that same 73 and 74, 73 for Star Shield and them. Anyway, let me wrap up. And it's been a pleasure, even though you had me here gasping over the things that you had for us. And no comment. And I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who have supported me and still supporting me in this venture that I'm having on the 26th, starting 7 p.m. sharp. A little cocktail, you know, little drinks here and there, meet and greet before the show time. And the show will be featuring everything that I like, loved. We are going to have, can't do anything without God's blessing. We're having a little gospel section where you're going to have people like Jazzy D. She would be singing, doing her contribution via a song that she knows that I like. And it's a gospel song. So we're having this blessing part first. And Pastor Connor is the person who is doing the invocation. You could have nothing. I will start nothing. Anything I do, I have to put God first. So that little segment. And then we are going to have some cultural things like the masquerade, because I love the masquerade, and the drumming, the dancers. And then we're into the Calypso tent with the grandmasters. And I have two mistress and master of ceremonies. It's going, as you heard on the ad, Ma Allen, she's from My Female Show days, and she was Lady Sunshine then. And Chris Roberts for the 10th part. And I've chosen the ones who, some people overlook to feature. And so you will have to come and hear them. And then I will end the night with a few of my songs. We have giveaways in between, and plus those who couldn't attend from overseas. I had some who, because of family, things, family family commitments. I couldn't find the word. They were not able, but they are doing their video, a video speech, greeting, whatever you want, or words of congratulations. So we'll have that mixing in between. So you're not going to be sitting down there being bored. And plus, I have a special prize where I have done the teacher part in me couldn't resist it. I've done multiple choice items of myself. Let me see who is my number one fan. And the person who gets the most, because I don't expect them to get on. And just in case anybody tie, I have 2 tiebreakers. So I'll be doing part of my life coming in. I couldn't resist giving a little quiz about myself. So that would be also part and parcel of it. Giveaways, my special quiz, and let me see who would get those things correct. Yes. And last but not by no means least, the music. The music to my songs over the years, the majority of the music played, everybody, and nobody knows, it's Ringo's brother, Kenrick
William Hicks.
Yeah.
Hicks Williams.
Hicks Williams. I am telling you, it's a lot of work. I've seen him in action, and it's a lot. And he's going to be here to play for me. He has the band Top Notch. Well, the whole of Top Notch will not be coming, but he's the main part of Top Notch. So he will also be featured. And it's going to be a good night. And I pray to the Lord that we had good weather. Because you know how the weather system goes now. One time it's hot, and next time rain pouring.
You don't have Kenrick to yourself, Jackie. I mean, I say you don't have Kenrick to yourself. I don't mention all the folks that helped me over the years with this podcast, but when I cannot find some of my technicians to do my edits and stuff,
I know.
Kenrick is the one take care of me. He never turned me down.
I know. He doesn't. That's one thing with him. He doesn't turn down people. Even if he has to, go out on a limb, he would do it. And I would also like to thank you too for this opportunity, because even one person would hear me, something they could take away from. I know we didn't have the numbers because I didn't tell anybody I'm coming on it. Because had I told mine, they would have been on. But I didn't say anything.
But you got people on the chatting saying that you win several crowns and they cheat you and things like that.
Well, that is the only thing, the after talk I don't get. It come like everything is supposed to be. The cheater.
Yeah.
And that's all I got. But thank God for the personality that I have, that I love Calypso, and regardless of what they did, I still came back every year. Regardless of what happened, I came back because I love doing it. When you see, sometimes I would say, you know what, I done. But from the time you see August come, Marisha, that pen don't start writing, you know.
I know it is, man. So you get your knockout in St. Thomas and you still keep
Oh,
coming.
yeah. Oh, well, I'm done with them there because something happened there that really left me saying, is either black magic or something, because I don't understand why these things are happening to me. I don't understand it. Everybody sang their song clearly, and when it came to me, chip out 3 times. And nobody stopped, nobody do. They went on like I boss. And that was it. But I just leave it up and you say, now what? Anything that is going to make me bitter, I quit. Okay. I don't want any bitterness. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And for the past 3 years, I will come on and do my little do.
You miss out a year, man. This is your 4th year.
My 4th year? I don't even know. I miss out a lot of things because the other day I was trying to remember as many songs
you know,
that I did.
You know what you don't remember?
What?
Because in 2020 when we spoke, they throw you out so you can't come sing.
By our hat, the COVID hat, because I had spent my time twice in hotel.
In quarantine.
In hotel, I went, one of them ain't calling the name, they ain't no plug for me. But that thing hurt me. It hurt me so much that I did something I never did before. I went on a march. When they had when Labour had their march for whatever, I went on march against the COVID lockdowns because to me it was unnecessary.
Yeah,
I could have come in this house here and be protected. I wasn't going anywhere because the second time I came up and they locked me down, they had a music festival just a little way away from me, and I over here stewing because I love music festival. There were some artists that I wanted to see. I don't go to every night and that kind of stuff there. But they had me over here. Not a thing to me. I test negative, didn't get COVID and that kind of stuff there. Because I know what to take. Good old Grandma Bush and them kind of stuff. They're the ginger, the turmeric and all those things.
Yeah, that's why we get rid of them, you know.
Yeah, but anyway, bygone be bygone. I vented by marching.
Yeah.
And who hot.
Well, I just hope you don't have a repetition. But sister, teacher, I look forward to seeing you at that event. And again, I look forward to hang out with my partner, Mr. Leader. I have spent a good time with him there in the hills. We hang out in the hills there searching for cancer. We spend a good time together, you know.
I know. I was following up, you know, because he was on the phone when you all found him. And the tears just dropped out my eye because I felt guilty in not going to look for him when I said I was going to. And that is what I wanted to say to people. When you have your loved ones, your friends and so on, do not wait. So I didn't waste time come up to say I'm going funeral because it makes no sense then. Give them their flowers while they are living. Tell people you love them while they are in good health and could understand. And stop this ray, man. I love everybody, even when I don't know them.
Yeah.
But that's it. So thank you very much again.
Yeah. Well,
and I will see you on the 26th and on the 27th.
Yeah, you will. But you know, I'm an hour and 8 minutes past the hour. I supposed to finish at 8. It's now 9:08.
Okay, then.
But you're not going to end my program without the politics, and I don't want you in there. So I got to take at least 10 minutes to hear what our opposition leader is saying, because he talked for 3 hours and something, and I only could find 5 minutes of something to make sense that I could play tonight. So let me go give the people a little sample of what he had to say in Parliament.
Okay, then. Thank you.
They made us a talk for talking, says here. There's a talk. Now make no sense. Just a waste current and a waste people time.
Boy, but you are like the politicians and don't hold them, as they say, hold their feet to the fire.
Well, that's
what makes it bad too is that sometimes it's not the politicians, it's us. I sometimes blame us.
It's the people.
Yeah.
It's the citizens.
Yep.
Because
some of them don't know. Some of them don't know. Some of their functionaries take it upon themselves to do things that they think the minister would like to hear or see.
You know the worst thing I don't say, Jackie, and who want get upset. One of the things that bothers me is during Parliament, The Prime Minister is the Prime Minister of the country, and he's supposed to lead in Parliament. But every time the AG gets up to speak, he would preempt and say, I'm going to say this because I think the Prime Minister wouldn't mind. I have a problem with that. Because once the AG don't say, he can't take it back, you know.
Once anything anybody says, remember.
So I have a serious problem with that. The Prime Minister has been disrespected in so many different ways by his colleagues. And when the DJ talk about it, they're upset with the DJ. And they go whisper in his ears and say, Marisha cussing you. No, I'm not cussing you, Mr. Prime Minister. I'm saying to you to pay attention, wake up. Your wolves around you is to destroy you. And you know what they're saying out there? They ain't saying they want to go to Labour, you know. They want to go to a Jew. Because he allowed them to do the nonsense they're doing. I know you don't want to touch the politics, so don't let me go there because you're going to be here all night with me.
Oh, and I won't, because if it's one thing I don't let stress me, I'm going to sing certain things, but I am not going to be stressed by something that stressed by a cycle.
Yeah.
Politics is a cycle of the same thing happening year in
year out.
So I ain't going there.
Anyway, I'm going to drop this clip by your leader of the opposition, and I'm trying to get out of here. So thanks for coming. Say good night to brother leader for me, and I look forward to seeing you.
And all my, whoever was on commenting, thank you.
Right. So my good people, I got some calls on Monday. Folks want to know if I'm listening to the Parliament. I tell them no. I have said time and time again that the Prime Minister had made some statements 2 years ago about what's going on with the National Bank, the Development Bank, and the fake marriages and all kind of stuff he talk about. Nobody is charged. Nobody is arrested. I don't see nothing change. I really don't need to hear anything else until I see some movements to improve. So I don't listen to Parliament. I don't listen to those things. If somebody call me and say, Marisha, such and such, and I feel like checking it out to come here and talk about it, then. But I'm not going to sit down and waste my time listening to Parliament. Similarly, someone told me yesterday if I heard what Premier Brantley was talking in Parliament, he talked for some 3 hours. So I hear by myself last night, ain't nothing to do. So I listened to his speech. I find 9 minutes I could have found, because he spoke about the fact that Nevis already did their budget 2 weeks ago, and he won't aware that the VAT will be reduced from 17% to 13%. But they say him and the Prime Minister get along good. So how come they're having conversation, the Prime Minister, and tell him this? So in his presentation, he was talking about the situation with that. That tells me you are not communicating. As the leader of the opposition, you should have known the VAT going to be reduced. But he went on to speak about small business. And when he mentioned small business, a bulb went off in my head, because I think about these small businesses in Nevis and St. Kitts that are struggling. And I figure he's going to ask the Prime Minister to give some financial stimulation. You know, I figure he's going to ask for some stimulation for the small business. But listen to what he went into for yourself. Listen.
To do with the small business community. I'm a strong advocate for small businesses. I'm a strong advocate for small businesses because research has shown that the small business community tends, Madam Speaker, to be the backbone of most economies, even advanced and developed economies. And I confess that I read through the budget address and I saw the effort in relation to cost of living. I saw the effort being made in relation to other aspects of the economy. I did not see what is being proposed to stimulate the small business sector. And I just want to make one small point, that as we talk about cost of living, as we talk about the small business sector, then something that the small business sector has been complaining about, certainly in my engagement with them, is the model for computation of charges at the port. This is not new. But apparently I'm told that when a small business brings in its products at the port, and let us say that it attracts customs duty at 20%, and it attracts customs service charge at 6%, and the item costs $100, trying to use some math that I could calculate, that it appears that the process is that you get that $100, let us say the $100, to make it easy, is the CIF, carriage insurance, cost insurance and freight. So that comes to 100. So you're paying your taxes based on CIF, not the cost alone, but cost, insurance, and freight. If the duty is 20%, then you charge 20% of that, that's $20. If the customs service charge is 6%, you charge 6% of that, that's $6. Then you add those back to the $100. And then you calculate the VAT of 17%. So essentially, people are paying tax on tax. So that $100 cost, insurance, freight, becomes $126 when you've added duty and customs service charge. And then you're paying 17%, not on 100, but on 126. Bearing in mind that the 26 is already tax, 20 is customs, 6 is customs service charge. And many have said, I have not done the math myself, but many small businesses have said that if we were simply to change that to do a straight line, meaning customs is 20%, in my example, $20. Customs service charge is 6%, $6. VAT is 17%, $17. So we pay 100 plus 20 plus 17 plus 6. And customs is not no value. How are you going to add customs back to the amount and call it value added? What is the value that the customs officer has added by working out what the math is? He's working out, it's a tax. So when you take the cost and you add back the customs duty and you add back the customs service charge and then you levy the VAT. Well, what I'll say is this, and the member for number 8 is right, it has been that way. That is not my point. It has been that way for all the years. I think that we need to look at that because, as I said, the small business community is saying that simply by making that adjustment, it would help them in terms of the pressure that they claim they face at the port. So I raise that because, as I said, that methodology, and it impacts the small businesses, and it also can impact the cost of living. Because if individuals feel that this is what they have to pay, then obviously they then tack on top of that their profit, and that is how it goes. So the change, I believe, can be very helpful to our people, to the small business community, in terms of moving us forward.
Yeah, so that's a little clip there with Premier Brantley speaking about small business and taxes. And I am there with him, but he should have asked for some cash for the small business, some stimulus for the small business, because without some cash injection in these small businesses, many of them not going to make it to the new year. And even if they make it to the new year, if things don't pick up drastically for them over the holidays, come January, February, March, these businesses will have to close. People are going to lose their jobs. So, Brother Brantley, I would hope that you guys focus on the people, the small businesses, the citizens. You guys are doing well. Now, as you know, I'm now 1 hour 19 minutes in overtime. This is the part where my boy Ivor Henry enjoys. You know, he loves when I go overtime. But I'm going to get out of here shortly. But cannot get out of here without updating the folks. You guys, I'm going to update until something is done. Whether they want to hear me or not, they're going to hear me. Because until matters are done, things are changed in this country for the better. DJ Mawisha will come here week after week and remind them of what's taking place. I'll be out until January. God spare my life. I come back in January. I'll be picking up right where I left off. And I'll be bringing the information. Not because I am not here in the podcast. I'll be taking my notes. I will be taking my notes. So my good people, today, December 18th, believe it or not, my cousin that I didn't meet while she was alive, Sister Joycelyn, her funeral was this afternoon, and I had a very busy day. Well, a busy week, really. They have a lot going on at the JNF there, which took up my time. So I couldn't leave as early as I would like to attend the funeral. I left the JNF about 3:45 today with the hope just to get to the church before they leave for the cemetery. And I guess whether it's my cousin Alex, or whether it's my cousin that's deceased, Sister Joycelyn, make it possible. I was surprised that when I got to the church, the casket was still open. So I was able to do my final viewing just before they closed the casket. So met a few family members and everything. So want to thank Alex and the rest of the family for giving me that opportunity. But let's move on to the meat of the matter for me. The grain that have me very pissed off, and I'll be pissed off until something is done, my good people. Today, the 18th of December, marks 138 days since Constance Edwards, aka the Buffalo Soldier, aka Lord Black, went missing. 138 days. He went missing on August 1st. 130 days since he was found dead in a gut site in Sadler's Mountain. 9 days after he went missing, he was found dead in the Sadler's Mountain. 118 days since his funeral. More than 14 weeks since letters was written to the Ministry of Health. Acting P.S. Curtis Martin. I delivered 2 of those letters. Emails are on those letters. They also received a letter that was emailed to them concerning the situation and putting things in place for these homes and the healthcare system as a whole. My good people, to this date, the family is still struggling, cannot get information either from police or Department of Health. Are they still investigating after all these days? 138 days since he went missing, they're still investigating. 130 days since he was found dead up in the hills of Sadler's Mountain. 118 days since his funeral, they're still investigating. What all kind of other things they're quick to jump up for? The Prime Minister has made several presentations on social media and his podcast where he go on his round table in Parliament. Not a mention, not a concern about any efforts to bridge these issues. Well, the DJ are going to sleep until these things are done, you know. So, I'm saying tonight, we might have to do some marches next year, in the new year, to deal with these matters. Because if they're not going to do it willingly, we the citizens have to put some boots on the ground to ensure these things get done. All right? Now, The year is coming to a close. It's my final program. And I want to take this opportunity to thank some people who have contributed in keeping this program alive. You know, 4 years ticking, 4 years, heading in its 5th year. So people like Cora Bennett, Romello Jeffers, Douglas Shaw, Jeffries and Son Enterprises over there in Molyneux, Fritz Bakery over there in the Bower area, Eustace Warner of Warner's One Stop there in Boardwalk, Paris Pharmacy over there in Westbourne Gut, Tango Tire Shop over there in Westbourne Gut, Miss Liebert, Miss Blanchett, Hazel Claxton, Annette Morton, Pearl in the UK, Jenkins Funeral Home, Sadler Funeral Home, Smart Fit over there on Central Street, Sister Gloria Hutchinson. I want to thank all of you. Sister Nelta Robinson, I want to thank all of you who've been there throughout the year, holding my foot to the fire, keeping me grounded, because there are times where I could get loose when some people say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. But you let me know that there's a better way and another way to do stuff. So thanks. I want to say good evening to folks like Sister Gwyneth Marisha. Good evening. How are you doing? My son, there, Jeffrey Jr., there in the LA area. Sister Jazz, how are you doing? Season greetings to the entire listening family, the online viewership. Season greetings to you all. Merry Christmas when it comes next week. Happy New Year when it comes. You will see me in the New Year, God spare life. My sister Esther there in Tortola, Brother Mokish and the kids. I want to thank you guys for being such a stalwart and support over the years. My brother there, Carl Morris, in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. Sister Felicia Morris, good evening. Patsy Brown, Brother Avon Brown, Sour, Mara Alphan Crew. I want to touch my boy there whenever I'm in the UK, make sure that I'm okay. Brother Ruben Daniel, welcome to St. Kitts. I hope you're enjoying your season. Sister Alice Clark, Bernard Clark, welcome to the Federation. I hope you guys enjoying yourselves. Also want to touch my uncle there in St. Croix, Eustace Hutchinson and the team over there. My cousin Ken Bernier and Sister Pam there in the Virgin Islands. My favorite cousin there, Sister Natalie Carty in St. Thomas. How is Caroline and crew? You know, I know many of you going to say I didn't shout you up this evening, but it's not because I don't want to. The time just is not there. I am now 1 hour and 20 minutes, 27 minutes over time, and I need to really get off here. I want to take this opportunity one more time to thank Mr. Philip Martinez for taking the time out to come and chat with me this evening. It takes courage and it takes respect for a gentleman who is busy doing what he's doing to take the time out and come to sit with me and have a conversation and to try to bring some clarity to the concerns of you, our beloved citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, here locally in St. Kitts, in the region and overseas in the diaspora. I know some of you have to support your party and you can't believe certain things are happening, but believe me, things are happening. And in time to come, I have said to you guys before, some of you are going to hold your head and bawl when you realize what some of these people have been doing to us. Time is what we're going to take care of all of this. I want to thank Brother Benter for his continued support, his investigative work, and bringing some truth to power from my end. I couldn't do it on my own. There are certain things that Brother Benter has connection with in getting things done that I couldn't do myself. So Brother Benter has been an asset since I met him to get certain things clarified for me. And, you know, the reaction of some of our people, the first thing to do is to cry out and say, somebody is a crook, somebody lies, somebody thief. I had a friend one time in New York, and he had a partner that was doing some wrong. And I decided I'm going to tell the partner what was taking place, because I don't think a nice guy like that should have been experienced in certain things. And that young lady told the partner that, no study me. and because I want her. And he believed. Though it was not so, he believed. And she was able to continue with her bad behavior. Eventually, he found out that it was not so, and basically they parted life and whatever. But this is what life is. You elect politicians expecting them to do the right thing. And for whatever reason, they choose to do the wrong thing. And they try to convince you that what you're hearing and what you're seeing is not so. Even though it's beating you in the face, it's busting your face, the facts is there before you. But you want to believe that what you're seeing is not so. My good people of St. Kitts Nevis, as you all know, I support Prime Minister Joe. I support the people of St. Kitts Nevis. I have defended this country and promoted this country for more than 40 years. I will continue to do my part. But one thing I'm not going to do is to mislead anyone, spin for anyone, twist for anyone. Once you all bring good things to me, I will promote and speak about the good things. If you all cannot make yourself available in private to deal with issues privately, then we're going to discuss it here. And if we deal with stuff privately that should be private and you bring it public, then we're going to discuss it publicly here. It's as simple as that. Who wants to get upset? Get upset. We are all human beings. And I remember one time saying this to vice president at the hospital where I work, because they was doing some wrong to the workers while I was representing them as a delegate. The young lady name was Selena. For anyone that work at the hospital I work, they would know who Selena was. Very crude, hard, don't care, I would say racist person. And she used to do a lot of wrong to people. And I look at her in her face one day in the boardroom. And I said, Selena, you know what I love about life? And you know what I appreciate about life? She said, what, Mr. Marisha? I said, no matter all the wrong you're doing here, it will come to an end because all of us have to die. You cannot take nothing with you. You cannot take this job with you. And all these people that you have done wrong to, God is going to let you lie in a bed and suffer and think about the wrong you have done. And that happened. Many of them, it happened to. There's another one there from employees. I didn't want to call his name, but he too got his day. Worse than everybody else that he dealt with. So my good people, it is that time of the evening that I say, good evening. Sister Ann Farrell Smith, how are you doing? Good evening. I'm going to drop this ad and I'm going to get out of here. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year when it comes. Season greetings. Let's take a quick listen.
Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Marishall's Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishall. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Marishall, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishall. Log on.
Yes, man, every Wednesday evening. And let's not forget my boy, Dwyer Astafan as well, that has been coming with some very informative commentary over the past months. He too has taken his leave until the new year, but I want to send some appreciation and showers of blessing to my boy, Dwyer. This track that is coming up, the unofficial anthem of the Federation, the late great King Arrow. This track is entitled Arise. But my good people, music sweet, but please listen to the lyrics.
Your country dying and never lend a helping hand. Would you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we watch on idly, disregarding our self-sufficiency? Building a brand new nation, we'll move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. Building a wall so massive or a bridge, don't care how small, as one tends to divide our people, the other unite us all. Unambitious men just cannot be a part of this community. Selfishness, a total lack of interest. No, I said no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct our mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. Let us reintegrate and correct all mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We'll move on together hand in hand. So rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
Yes, sound of the man, the King Arrow. Citizens, have a blessed evening, a great holiday season, and look forward to seeing you.